Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am HardyF1. Welcome back to the side-by-side racing action Season 5, the penultimate round here in Imola, and once again I am joined by the very awesome TwinBarrelJay. How are you, Jay?
Good evening, my friend. I am super excited for this one. How about you?
Oh, I cannot wait for the action tonight, because of course we've got this round and one more. The championship could be decided tonight. It's chaos. It's a brand new track for the game and the drivers, so there's so much to play for and so much to see. I can't wait to see it all kick off. And very kindly this week, Liam has provided us with a little onboard lap. So if you want to talk us through it, then Jay, we're going to go across the start-finish line right about now.
Oh, you're going to have to prep me on these things, mate. Right.
I do apologise, it was a last-minute edition.
That's all right. Give me a second. Yeah, so as you come down into turn 1 and 2 here, TwinBarrello, you're just balancing the car, looking for the best exit out on the run down to Villeneuve. Again, you can carry a lot of entry speed here, but you don't want to get too much in to make sure you get the best exit on the outside. Watch that gravel. Then down into Tosa. Very, very tricky braking to get right. And again, it's all about the exit as we run down to Piratella now. This is a super fast left-hander. Just throw the car in, hope it sticks. watch yourself on exit and prepare yourself now for Acqua Minerale, one of the most tricky corners on the F1 calendar. Camber all over the place, downhill, then uphill. Slim gets a snap of oversteer, and then you want to, all your attention then goes down to alter. Very tricky braking zone. Bounce yourself through the chicane, don't lose it on the curbs, and then you're down towards Ravazza. Again, all about braking this track, very difficult. Downhill, camber on the inside, run it out wide, avoid the gravel, get the best run you can down the pit straight, and that is a lap of Imola. Lovely. Lovely from him.
Lovely from him. Absolutely brilliant. So then session is live. Then we've got 14.5 minutes plus a little bit extra due to the spectator bug. So let's go through the standings then. So the top 10 drivers, as you can see on your screen. Jesper then at the front on 195 points, and Jonty in P2 with 175 points. So if Jesper gets the win here, then I do believe that means he is champion, because I don't think Jonty will be able to close that gap, and Jesper will be the new SxS champion for Season 5.
Technically he could.
Could he technically?
So if the gap stays at 25 points and there's still 4 wins apiece, then Jonty could win the final race if Jesper doesn't score. And
Yeah,
win
you're right.
Because he'll have more wins, but it's very unlikely.
Yeah, it's very unlikely. Yeah, so okay, fair enough. So I did make a miscalculation, but that's fine because Rage would normally do it anyway. So yeah, so you got Jesper in P1 then with 195, and Jonty in second 175. Then P3 Liam for the rest of this season. Then at the top 2, 138 points, doing a really good job for Aston Martin, and of course a double podium last time out in Japan. And then of course Ben and RF in 4th and 5th for the Red Bull team, 109 and 107 points, both racing back tonight, Ben, so that is going to be awesome to see as well. I'll see what that means for the constructors if they get their act together and gain a load of points. Then you've got Tours at P6 and 81, Polka P7 with 79, Bika actually the surprise down in P8 in 74. We'd expect a lot more from Bika. And P9 Pulu having a great season, 71 points, and Maki rounding out the top 10 on 56 points. Then we go to the rest of the grid. Yuki actually having a great season, one of the best seasons ever had in side-by-side racing, into P11 with 36 points and looking to score more again tonight. With Krista in P12 with 23 points. Unfortunately, Krista not being able to make it tonight, unfortunately, so Rusty is racing for him tonight. Tristan then in P13 with the Alpine with 21 points. Half P14, 20 points, doing great for the Alpha Tauri team. Marco himself unfortunately cannot race tonight due to a pad issue. His pad is not working, unfortunately, so he is out of tonight's race, but should hopefully be back next week. Then you've got him on 17 points. Then you've got End Andrews on P16, 4 points. Scoring a little bit here and there, and should be able to get a good result here tonight. He's going to be the lone Haas runner once again, unfortunately. But then you've got Bill and the McLaren first of the 0-point runners, and then Jaxi and then Pato. So then going on to the constructors then, on the left side of your screen, Alpine 290 points to Mercedes 249. So it is really close at the top. So if Jesper and I don't think so, his teammates not. Yeah, sorry. So Jesper, if he can get the win and get the fastest lap and get 26 key points, that should wrap up the title for Alpine. But Mercedes can still come back, of course, you know, this week and next. If Bika and Jonty get right on it and get the results, and this is the problem when you don't have your teammate racing out with you, you can't get maximum points, and that can put pressure on. And then Red Bull as well, Resurgent Red Bull in P3, 207 points, doing a great job between Finn and Ben Mills, of course. Aston Martin leading best of the rest, 194. But given how they've been going the last few races and that double podium, they are looking mighty and could even challenge Red Bull for P3. Alfa Romeo P5 on 150 points, followed by Williams 87, Ferrari 74 points, McLaren 50, Haas and P9 23, and AlphaTauri 10th with 20 points.
Yeah, no, I don't know why I ever doubted you, Hardy. You are correct. If he wins the race, yes, because then the gap would be 27 points, which would then be insurmountable. You're quite right. I should never have doubted the almighty Hardy. But
that's
yes,
right. You can always doubt me.
Drivers and constructors up for grabs today. I mean, there's 86 points available in the constructors, so there is still opportunity to swing, especially if Alpine are fighting with one hand behind their back. But yeah, Aston Martin and Red Bull, another interesting duel, as you say, after that double podium out last time. So it's Jonty that has got the early honours then. But it's only a few hundredths of a second between him and Jesper. It's a real shame what happened last time out, wasn't it, with Jonty and Finn?
Yeah, absolute shame for that move.
Because this would have been a lot closer.
And Becker's actually retired from the session. He is not going to set a time at all, so that is heartbreak for Becker. And of course, the lovable Rage F1 himself, racing tonight, is fighting a little bit of illness. Did say he doesn't not have the Ronies, but is going to be fighting on like a full trooper. So we'll see what he can do for the Williams team. Then he'll be scoring points for them. And I think he's had a little bit of practice, but not a lot, so it's not ideal for him then. As he flicks it now through the left-hander, carries a good amount of speed actually, considering it now approaches Aqua Minerale, and we'll see how well he can take this, getting down the gear shifts nice and neatly actually, and carrying a good amount of speed on the exit.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't discourage the amount of practice he's done. I've seen him on this game for the last couple of hours, and I think he might be ill, but I think he secretly just wanted to try out his new DD wheel.
Oh yeah,
we'll see how he does.
That is fine if he wants to try out his DD wheel, and we'll see how he can get on with that DD wheel. Hopefully, it doesn't break his wrist like when we set up a few weeks ago. Sorry, last week we set up for dirt racing, and it was just too strong force feedback. So we'll come across the line then, and so it's a 1:16.5, a little bit off the pace, but that was his first time lap, so expect that to come down a little bit.
Decent effort. He's not last.
Yeah, that's an achievement. If he gets not last, that is an achievement. And the benchmark was set when I did the Singapore Grand Prix a few weeks ago and got points. So the place that Rage really needs to beat me, which is the person who's going to really race is me, is about P7. So if you can get 7 or better, then 7 would tie it, 6 or better would actually beat me, and then he would have the bragging rights.
I think you might be safe on that one, Hardy, but he's out there to prove me wrong.
You never know. Strange things can happen in side by side, of course. So then Yuki down P12. He's going to go for another lap. 1:15.8. He needs to find a couple of attempts if he wants to get it at least back into the top 10.
Yeah, absolutely. He's super close in that lower midfield as normal. Those guys will be juggling getting through to the top 10 and starting on a free choice of tyres. Mine Polecat currently in the prime position for that. But I would say he's got a bit more time to find in that. Then we've got the super competitive midfield with the likes of Maku, Torza, Liam, Andrews, although Maku and Torza pushing closer to Finn and Ben. But yeah, super close between the top 3 or 4 at the moment, only a couple of attempts between them.
Yeah, absolutely. We're right on board now with Yonti, and of course Yonti has to put the pressure onto Jesper and really needs to get this race win. Hope that Jesper does not score well at all, if any. And it's ahead by 6 thousandths of a second, so he just needs to find as much speed as he can coming out of the last corner now, then gets so much grip going through there, carries a great amount of speed. And we'll see him now as he will approach the line. What time he does? He does go faster to 1:14.3, so a great lap time from Yonti. We'll see if Jesper can match. And Jesper actually aborts his lap and goes into the pits. That is such a shame. So we'll round board with Ben Mills for the rest of the lap.
Yeah, great lap, extending his margin. As you said, all he can do really is take the pole, take the win, and then the games might come into play later in the race if Jesper is still behind him in terms of sort of Hamilton backing up Rosberg circa Abu Dhabi 2016. But yeah, Ben coming across the line then, can he find an improvement or is he just starting his lap?
He found improvements. He gained a tenth and jumped up from P3 to P2, so that is a great lap there from Ben Mills to put the pressure on, because of course Ben knows he's not going to be able to win the championship. He's racing just for the outright win, so he does not need to get involved. Whereas Yonti and Jesper do not need to get involved in any battles. They need to keep it nice and clean and tidy. Ben just knows that he can go flat out and just put the pressure onto both of them, so he's doing a great job to be a 10th away from Yonti at this stage.
Yeah, no, great lap from him. He can get in amongst the championship contenders and, as you say, can cause chaos without fear of having to go for the points for the championship. So both Red Bulls looking pretty quick at the moment. And of course, they're locked in a fight with the 2 Aston Martins of Maku and Liam as well. So they'll want a strong result here. But yeah, as he loses it on the exit back.
Maku has invalidated as well, so that is a shame for Maku. I think he was going faster, and that would have been a great lap time. It would have put him at least a 10th or 2 ahead. It could have been a P4 and maybe touching on the door of P3, so that's a shame for Maku to invalidate there then. As a bridesmaid, Liam himself is on an outlap, so we'll see if his teammate can do any better.
Yep, they've both got plenty of chance to go again. That's what qualifying's all about. They've all got decent bankers in, so they'll be pushing the limits now, trying new lines, trying to take that extra couple of miles an hour into each corner, put an extra couple of yards onto that braking zone and just eke it out to find the time. But yeah, let's see how Liam can do.
I will say as well, just watching Pulu then on board, he was so committed through Aqua Minerale. He's going to abandon his lap, unfortunately. But he's carrying so much speed through there, and just was relying on believing the car would stick and turn in, and he just did such a great job through that section. But unfortunately, that's his lap abandoned, and he will have to go again.
Yep, but currently 4 tenths ahead of his teammate Polecat, which would be a decent qualifying position for him at the moment. So he'll have a chance to stick another set of tyres on it, go again, and see if he can find a bit more time, as Liam is now out of the session. I don't know if that was... He had just started a lap, so we've got to presume that that's gone into the barriers somewhere.
I think he's gone in after TwinBarrelJay. I think it's turn 3 or 4, just before Tosa. I think he's gone off. If I'm right, we go on board with Big Boy Bill. We should be able to see Liam's car just after the little chicane section, as the car now clears up. But yeah, that's where he's just lost it on the outside of this corner. So it's a shame for Liam. We'll see then. He's going to be vulnerable. He's not able to go any faster. But if he can start out in the top 10, that'd be a great job for Liam, because obviously Liam, we do know, has fantastic race pace and does tend to do a bit better in the races than he does his qualifying. He saves a lot for his race setup, so we'll see what he can do today. Actually,
yeah, absolutely.
Bill did join us as well, so that is great to see him this week as well. He wasn't here last week, I believe, so it's great to see the McLaren back on the track, and we'll see what he can do with this lap.
Yep, absolutely. Sol McLaren, he's had some decent pace when he has been racing, so yeah, let's see what we can go out and do. But yeah, Liam is a bit of a specialist at pulling a result out of nowhere, no matter where he starts, so I don't think he'd be too disappointed that he's at least got the time in. But yeah, everybody now back in the pit lane, with the exception of Rage Bill, as you say. So they'll be sticking on their final set of soft tyres and waiting as late as possible to go for the best track conditions. This Big Boy Bill does go P7. That's a very decent lap for his first entry.
That is a brilliant lap time from Big Boy Bill, especially for his first lap, to be straight into the 115 and just so close to the 114. So if I was Torza, I would definitely be worried. And Torza's coming out of the pits now to go once again. So hopefully he's fueled up for a couple of runs at the end then.
Yep, absolutely. Well, I'd imagine they only want 1 or 2 laps, considering they will be their starting tyre. But yeah, just get out there when there's always the risk of yellow flags incidents, and you just want sometimes a clean track to go out and do your thing, as most of the top 5 are now heading out onto track. How's Rage doing? He's out on a lap at the moment.
Yeah, he's just starting his lap now, down P16, so not last, thankfully for him, because Beaker did retire early, unfortunately. So he'll take the high ground on that, I guess. But he needs to really find a second or two if he wants to be in the hunt for this and in the mix. I mean, right ahead he has got Rusty and Jaxie in the mix with him, and this could be a great little battle and a great little scrap at the end of the grid. So we'll see him now going up towards Tosa, and he brakes nice and smoothly, actually going into that corner and get a fairly decent exit there. A bit of an early upshift, so it cost him a little bit, but not too much, so not too bad.
Yeah, looking like a pretty clean lap here. Not taking as much curb as he could do, but you know, he's getting used to this wheel, getting back used to the game. A little wide for Aquaman, but that's okay. He'll sort it out, and it was too wide.
So unfortunate. Just the margins. I mean, you've got to be so perfect not to invalidate. And Rage himself now, we'll see him cut the track completely. So they sneak in another lap time, but that is going to be that lap abandoned. Jaxie is also back in the pits. I will say Harv is doing a great job. Sorry, continue.
That's alright, might be worth jumping on board with Ben Mills, who's on a pretty hot lap here. He's up on his own personal best, and that would be almost enough to challenge Jonty, so it'd be worth seeing this lap out of him and seeing what he does there.
Oh, absolutely. He's coming out of Aquaminerale then and coming into one of the tightest corners on the track, and just a really hard corner to get right, generally, no matter what you drive around here and what you race. So you got a good exit and a good launch from there. So now coming down the hill then, can he get his braking right? Just takes the right amount of apex speed in there as well. So we'll see him now. Can he actually threaten Jonty for pole as he approaches the DRS line? And we'll see him come across the start finish line, and he does. He goes faster by 0.07 of a second. That's a fantastic lap from Ben Mills.
Yeah, brilliant lap there. Committed, fast, and pole position for the moment then. So what do the other runners have? What do Jonty, Finn, Jesper? I would expect Maku to improve a little bit there. He's close enough as Torza flies past the outside of Bent, so he is also starting a lap. Oh no, that's not Torza, that was Rage, I think. Torza coming up to the line now. And actually does improve to P5, just ahead of Maku then.
And that's a great job from Torza then. So right on board with Jonty then as he comes down the hill. And I don't know if he's abandoned this lap or not, because he was yeah, I think he has abandoned this. So he's going to go once again a bit of a recharge. So he's going to have this lap and this lap only, I believe. So the pressure is now on, see if Jonty can. He knows the target time he needs to get just to match Ben, but he's going to have to find a tenth or two at least if he wants to get pole position a bit more comfortable. But of course, never doubt Jesper himself, championship leader, just gets past a little bit of traffic going into that corner and then on his way downhill. So Jesper now needs to find a good amount of speed and time coming down the hill.
Yeah, no, he's up massively on this lap. Will it be enough to challenge? It's certainly enough to challenge Yonti if he keeps up on this delta. Looks okay on the curbs. Fast and committed. Good exit. Nice and smooth. This could be good enough for the front row here.
And it's only P3. So
a couple of hundreds.
Close off Yonti. But that was a great effort there from Jesper. That's going to be the end of Jesper's qualifying. He will not be able to go again, whereas Yonti can, and so can Ben. Sorry, Ben's coming to the pits. But Yonti does have the chance to go for one more if he wants it, if he had enough energy for it.
Yeah, so both Yonti and Finn are up on this lap. Yonti will be the first to cross the line, then Finn. So they're the two to watch for.
So we all went right on board with Yonti then, and we'll see if he can carry
Sorry,
this.
no, it's Finn that will cross the line first. My bad.
No problem. So then Finn then coming onto the main straight, the DRS coming out. Will he be able to go faster? And he does. It's pole position currently for Recycle Finn. Great job there. Going even a 10 faster than his own teammates. A great job there.
Yonti in the pits.
So Yonti should have banned it. Didn't think he could have gone faster. So that is a shame for Yonti. He can't go any faster. Jesper, we know, can't go faster. Torza is out of qualifying as well. That is his session done.
Maku improving.
Maku next. And Maku is improving. You're right. He's gaining so much time. We'll see, can he get into the top 5? We know he's got the speed to do it, so can he just get this lap together? Crosses the line, and he goes P3! What a lap time from Maku Gaming, the Estonian, the flying Estonian out there. Fantastic lap time.
Maku, you little gem. What a lap that was. Gets himself ahead of both championship contenders. And I think Big Boy Bill is also on a lap, so we can see if he can improve here. His first effort was pretty good. Let's see what his second is.
And it's good enough for P6, so good job there. And Andrew actually abandons his lap and comes in for P8, so he doesn't challenge. Harv as well, bit on a roll, getting P10. So he's doing a great job for the Alpha Tauri team. And I think Pulu is Pulu's invalidated, so he cannot go any faster, but is ahead of his teammates. So great job from Pulu. And that's going to be all that she wrote, I'm afraid, for qualifying. Recycle Finn then takes pole position and gains the pole position point. So
yeah, absolutely brilliant job from the two Red Bulls. Front row lockout. And Maku in the mix as well. And it might be only be 4th and 5th, but they are still side by side, the two championship contenders in 4th and 5th. Big Boy Bill, brilliant return to him. Maybe he's just been practicing with his time off.
Yeah, possibly just getting as much practice as he can into the new track for the game as well. So just absolutely brilliant to see Big Boy Bill up there. Yes, but P5, you're on to P4. Maku, I'd say apart from Recycle Finn's and the Red Bulls time, Maku started qualifying to jump out of P6, 7 straight into P3 with a lap time just so close to Ben Mills' time and splitting the championship contenders and the Red Bulls. A great job from Maku.
Yeah, that's a stunning lap from him. Maybe his ACC Imola knowledge helping him out there.
Yeah, absolutely. As much knowledge you can get from any other game, you can apply it to this one. Definitely going to help you around here. So great job there from Maku.
Yeah, absolutely. Some good jobs further down the top 10 as well. Yeah, as you say, Pulu out qualifying Harv. That's a great result in 10th. And then Rage, you know, it's his last return to the first return back to the game for quite a while, but still a respectable time. He's not a million miles away and can still race well from there.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. So we've got Finn then taking P1 with Ben Mills P2, Maku P3, Yonti P4, Jesper in 5th, Big Boy Bill 6th, Torza 7th, and Andrews 8th. And of course, we don't get enough time to read through out the whole grid. But what a qualifying session. Make sure you do not go anywhere because you do not want to miss this race.
No, absolutely not. So many stories. Can the Red Bulls finally convert the pace they've had in the last few races in qualifying into a 1-2, which is, I think, what they've been threatening to do for a while? Can Liam get in amongst it and finally break his bridesmaid's curse? And how will the championship battle turn out with them going into turn 1 side by side? That 20-point gap could evaporate very quickly if it goes the right way.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be absolute chaos across the entire across the entire grid. You're going to have the battle of the front, the battle in the mid pack, and even for the last point, the scrap is going to be huge between the likes of Polkath, Iokia, and Pulu. So it's going to be interesting to see. I think it's going to be a dry race throughout. So the tyre strategy, I'm not too sure on tyre wear around here. I haven't really raced it much in. I haven't actually raced it at all in the Formula 1 game, but I have, of course, raced it in ACC. So I don't know what the tyre wear is going to be with the strategy, but I'd imagine that if you're outside the top 10, going on the medium tyres to start would be the optimal strategy.
Yeah, I saw banded around that the mediums at a push would push to around 20 laps. So the total laps of the race minus 20 is about when you'd want to see the soft tyre guys coming in. But it's 32 laps, so maybe about lap 12. That seems a bit far to me. A lot of fast sweeping corners here. I can't imagine the soft tyres holding up for quite that long, but we'll wait and see.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I would be surprised, depending on the pace of the drivers, especially when you've got Recycle Finn and Ben Mills out front and dictating the pace. They're going to definitely be putting a lot of stress onto the soft tyres then. So let's have a look at the tyres, actually. So only Yukia, Rage and Bicker starting on the mediums. Everyone else on softs then, including Jaxie and Rusty. So that's going to be interesting then. So Bicker, he's got it all to do from P17 and last on those mediums. Rage is going to go for a long stint on the mediums, and so is Yukia. So Yukia actually could have the smart play here to try and go a bit longer than Polka and Pulu ahead, especially if we get a safety car or two. So that could always throw it into the mix and upset the plans for the teams anyway with the strategy. So they're all going to be careful of that then. So it will be Recycle Finn who will lead us away then with Ben Mills and P2 for his teammates. The Red Bull team doing a fantastic job locking up the front row, as you said. Maku then P3 splitting it up as well, just between Ben and Yonti. So then, but then we've got the two championship contenders, Yonti and Jesper. Just an absolute insane predicament here for Jesper. He's not been the quickest in qualifying. We don't know what his race pace is going to be, but he knows that if he can get the win and the fastest lap point, I believe that should wrap up the title for him. It should be mathematically impossible for Yonti to catch up, if I am correct.
Yeah, I think so. If it's not the win, then it needs to be a 6-point or more swing in Jesper's favour. But yeah, I mean, if you were Yonti, I'd get your elbows out, and Jesper has got two options here. Either go for broke or play the points game and just bring it home with some decent points, and he'll still have a decent margin going into the next race. But knowing these two guys, they will want to go for a couple better and trouble those Red Bulls up front. I'm sure in one part of their mind will be the championship, but as soon as those lights go green, it's very difficult not to go for gaps that are offered to you. But yeah, let's see how these Red Bulls get away. Let's see how Yonti and Jesper do against each other, and how that incredibly tense midfield negotiate the first lap here.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to wait for Beaker then to line up onto the grid, and then hopefully we will get underway shortly. Cycle Finn then has a nice clear view ahead of him, and we'll see then when we were waiting for the cars just to get into the positions. And there we go. So we're going to get the 5 red lights that will let us get underway. Of course, we are going to have, of course, the spectator delay. So the red lights are about to go. And we are racing here in Imola, and it's a great start from Recycle Finn. And a pretty decent start from Ben Mills. But looks like Yonti got a bit of a better start there, and he's ahead of Ben Mills, with Maku falling down to P4. So not a great start for Maku. Has to be careful on the inside with Jesper trying to make the move. And Yonti's actually off track as well, so that is a shame for Yonti. Yonti's been forced off the track there a little bit by Ben Mills, so a little bit of a shame there for Yonti, but all seems fair in love and war so far.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a blinding start from Yonti, but yeah, he got muscled out by Finn, as you say, and now finds himself back behind Jesper. It's not the best start from Maku, but the perfect one from Finn.
Absolutely, so that's exactly what Finn needed to do, and Jesper needs to get ahead of Yonti and did it as well. There's been a couple of incidents towards the back of the grid. I believe Torza must have had a spin because he is down 9 places, so that is a shame for Torza. But we know that Torza has great race pace generally, so he should be able to come back and do another storming drive back through the field. Maku and Liam then down P5, P6, and this is where it's going to be key before Maku is trying to stay with Yonti and to put the pressure onto the championship contenders.
Yeah, absolutely. Andrew's round at Alta manages to get it back going. No damage onto the car, but that's not the greatest from him when he started up in P8. Luckily, he didn't collect anybody on his way back into the track. He was creating a little bit of a train behind him, so I think he had a tough start, but we'll need to do some recovering from there.
Yeah, and Rage F1 actually up to P13, gaining 3 places, so a good little start there from Rage on the slower tyres, of course, but should be able to go further. And Torza is retired. So
yeah, absolutely.
That's a VSC.
It is a virtual safety car. Let's hope it stays that way after the last few races. That was our one wish for this race, wasn't it? For a few less safety cars and a bit of a cleaner race to see how the strategies actually panned out.
But I don't know how Torza managed to drop it, actually. He's come out of the last corner, coming towards the straight, and they just span the car, seems going towards the left side. So it wasn't like he was going into the pit lane, but Rusty has to come in because he does have damage to the new front wing. But that is an absolute shame there for Torza then. So absolute heartbreak, and of course he'll be back next week then to fight it out for the final round of Season 5.
Yeah, he was complaining that he barely even touched the wall, and it DNF'd his car, so hugely unfortunate for him after what was a decent qualifying. But yeah, absolutely, he'll hopefully be back for the final race as we're back under racing again then.
So absolutely then, so Jesper now needs to hunt down Ben Mills. Polecat is retired as well. I think Polecat's had a similar incident. coming out of Aqua Minerale. I think he just dropped the car completely. So that is a shame for Polka. And it's not like Polka to make those kind of mistakes, so he'll be absolutely livid with himself.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This is one of the few tracks in this game that I haven't actually yet driven, so I don't know if there's an issue here with curbs or traction or a few dodgy corners, but yeah, two very experienced drivers already out of the race then, and that opens the opportunity for some big points for some of this lower midfield.
Absolutely. I mean, I haven't driven this track either, so I don't know about the issues with curbs as we've seen in other tracks, but that is just definitely not expected for Polka and Torza to both be out within the space of a lap, so absolute shame for the pair of them. So we do have 15 drivers left, and we'll see how well they can all do between now and the checkered flag.
Yeah, absolutely. So these front four are making a breakaway despite his good qualifying pace after that pull start. Maku dropping a little bit back with his teammate Liam in tow. Two Red Bulls are still leading, but Jesper and Jonty are definitely tracking their every move as Ben loses it into Aqua Minerale. I think there was a small touch with Jesper and Jonty just about goes through. That's disastrous from Ben.
Oh, that's absolute heartbreak from Ben. And once again, we're seeing the experienced drivers that don't normally make these mistakes, making just what seems to be the slightest of mistakes, and it's costing them dearly here. So Ben Mills then down 11 places in P13. Absolute shame for Ben Mills. That does promote Deontay back up to P3.
That's the first time I've seen it on board, and it wasn't the curbs, it was just the second part of Aqua Minerale when the car's unloading as you're going into the full braking zone of the second right-hander. So maybe it's the braking that's catching them out there, but that's, free drivers, you would not expect to make those mistakes. Two of them with their races ending, and Ben fortunately managed to get himself back underway then.
Yeah, and all that's done as well is it's freed Yonti up to P3, Maku back to P4, and Liam into P5. So this is definitely going to help Yonti and Jesper. So Jesper now only having to attack one Red Bull and not two. So this is going to actually be quite crucial for strategy as well to think about for the Red Bull team. They can't split the strategy at all now, because Ben Mills losing 10 places as you just get past Rage F1. So that is an absolute shame for Ben. But I mean, it's still a long way to go. It's not over until it's over. So we're sure that Ben, we have seen it happen before. Ben has lost a few places at the start and come back and win a race. So you just see there, Jesper on board. He hits that curb, take a little bit of the inside curb, a little bit too much, and it just unsettles the car completely. He's lucky to catch it actually. So these curbs do seem to be a bit of a killer as well with the braking. So you've got to be so careful.
Yeah, I know all too well how tough Aqua Minerale is in a GT car, let alone with these Formula 1 cars, with how sensitive their brakes are. So, yeah, it doesn't surprise me, and they've obviously still got to get used to that, and will do through the race. Yeah, absolutely, Ben could find his way back through, and considering the safety cars we've seen throughout this season, it's definitely not game over for him. As Jonty is now looking to make a move on Jesper down to turn one. He makes the move round the outside. Jesper gives that up fairly easily then. It was DRS assisted. And Jonty up into P2, doing exactly what he needs to do. He now needs to get after Finn and maximise his points all this afternoon.
Yeah, it's a great job from Jonty, actually. He had such a good run coming out there. He had just set the fastest lap of the race as well in the 1:17, so he's got terrific pace at the moment. So he's really enjoying these tyres, so the soft tyres, and we still have at least 7 or 8 laps, I reckon, as you said before, around 12, 13, maybe 14 if you look at the tyre as well, with the softs before they have to come in and pit. So he's got to use this now to put the pressure onto Finn. But of course, what Jonty won't have necessarily is DRS to Finn, but Jesper will get DRS. So it could just be a bit of a DRS battle between Jonty and Jesper for the entire race if they can't close up to Finn.
Yeah, I mean, this is ideal position for Jesper right now. Surely in an ideal world you would be wrapping up the title in this race, but I think if he could follow Jonty home as it is, then I don't think he would be too disappointed. He can just track these two now. It's up to Jonty to start making that challenge because he needs maximum points this afternoon as Rage picks up a second penalty of the race.
He did get that penalty, but he was coming past Yuki, who had a spin, so he might have that one possibly removed if he was forced off, but I didn't see him actually go off the track when he did get the cut, so I don't know how Rage went off. But yeah, Yuki unfortunately had a bit of a spin. I'm not sure if he had contact, but I think he just dropped it himself. As Bill tries to challenge Pulu and can't make the move stick, actually going up the field, and Becker's now closed on. Becker's having a great job actually from P17 to 8th and on the medium tyres. He is flying.
There's an almighty battle between the two Aston Martins just ahead of those two as well, as Liam got himself past Maku. Maku was very aggressive on the way down to Villeneuve, and yeah, I'm not sure he was too happy being overtaken by his teammate there, but tracking him at the moment.
Yeah, and we've seen this before as well, where Aston Martin are very good at letting their faster driver go early in the race. Say, okay, you have a go, you're the fastest one on track, I'll let you go. And if he's not going to make the place and it's not for a championship battle, then he would give the place back if he needs to reswap it at the end. We have seen that before. And of course, Liam and Matthew do know each other quite well and have raced quite a lot together. So it's great to see the team sports and the inter-team strategy coming into play.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, as you alluded to, we've got that little Pulu train in the background. He's doing incredibly well from P6 at the moment. Big Boy Bill, Beaker and Harv all in tow. All of these looking at very good points this afternoon. I really hope that Harv can hold on and get a good result here, because he's had it coming. And if he can just let these three battle it out, then there's a good point as Mako and Liam swap places again. I think they're playing a bit of a DRS game down there at Aston Martin.
Oh, it gets so close, sorry to interrupt you, but Bill gets past Pulu with DRS. Baker thinks he can get past Pulu as they get to the end of the corner, and just Pulu was at just enough room to hold it. So Baker's going to be really annoyed he couldn't make that move stick, but did have to back out of it. So Pulu looking to struggle a little bit, and I think it's Harv actually off in the background. It is. Harv just got a little bit wide and caught the gravel, didn't spin, but just loses quite a bit of time, but it's down to P11, but has a lot to play for, especially with End Andrews having a penalty already. So it's not over yet for Harv, but I've just put Ben Mills back up to P9.
Oh, the commentator's curse. What have I done, Hardy? Just as I was saying, he needs a good result and has deserved one the last few races. Does he dip a wheel in the gravel and finds himself back? But still opportunity to fight back from there. But Pulu looking very racy. He didn't seem to like Bill getting past him there, and looks like he'll be trying to shape him up for a move again into the DRS zone. But he's got to be careful, because ever watchful behind is Beaker, and that's not someone I'd ever want in my rearview mirror.
Yeah, absolutely. Becker is very scary to have in your rearview mirror, but we did see him actually on board before going down the hill. He was struggling for a bit of traction, Becker, so he should be able to possibly make the move stick here. So Bill might lose 2 places here as Pulu now goes around the outside. So there's Becker. Bill tries to cover off Becker, and they do make a little bit of wheel banging touch, but Bill's going to have to settle for that position to Becker, and Bill is round.
He's gone. He's gone on exit. While that was happening, Jonty has taken the lead of the race from Finn, but yeah, that was very close between the three of them, and Bill was gone from a very dominant 6th position all the way back to just outside, well, just inside the top 10 at the moment. But Pulu, crucially, still ahead of Beaker. Great race for him so far.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant race from Pulu. We've seen Pulu just having some absolutely storming races that we saw in the Silver thing in Singapore, so we get the tracks right. As you know, being able to pit at the right time, get the fresh tyres, and go all the way up to P4 with a great job. So he's definitely the team leader there of the Alfa Romeo team, and he's to definitely have these results. It's been coming for a while. It's great to see, but just unfortunate for Big Boy Bill there with the contact with Becker. It looked like he had slight contact with the wheel banging, and then as he went to move out of the way and back out of it, he just seemed to break traction and just span the car, unfortunately. But I'm sure the Big Boy Bill will still be fighting for all the points he can get.
Yeah, as you say, he's got plenty of chance to fight back. I think it's very difficult when you get offline in this game to suddenly judge where your traction is, especially after you've been overtaken, because there's that part of your brain that's slightly frustrated and gets the throttle down a little bit earlier than it needs to, and that put him around as he takes to the pit lane now, so maybe an early stop for those mediums. But yeah, Finn has now got back past Jonty then. This lead swapping lap by lap. Jesper's still just sitting patiently at the back, but that's not what Jonty needed. He needed to sort of run away there, but as we've often seen this season, these front guys are so close on pace that they can stick for a lap in that DRS zone and then get past the very next lap that they've just been overtaken from. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see these positions swapping a few more times before the end of the race.
Yeah, I think it is clear to see as well that the DRS is so powerful around here. Some tracks we go to, it's just not quite powerful enough, but this just seems to be almost a little bit too powerful. We've seen some of the moves look far too easy. We saw Becker get past Pulu, so it is incredibly hard to defend, and it is going to be one of the swap and changes constantly. We will see the likes of Finn and Jonty swapping and changing as long as he can get good traction out. So it is going to be interesting to see. So we're around Bobby Jesper now, and we'll see if Jesper can close that up to Jonty. But if I was Jesper, I would just sit back a little bit and see, because if Jonty has one accident with Finn, then that could give him the championship. So it's got to be so carefully judged between the championship runners. His Finn gets a little bit squirrely actually coming out of turn 3, so that is a little bit of a shame for Finn. And Jonty now putting a lot of pressure on Finn.
yeah, as you say, Yonti knows what he needs to do. Jesper knows what he can do, which is just sit here patiently. He doesn't need to make any rash moves, and he can let these two trip over themselves. Finn, as you alluded to earlier, has nothing to lose really in this one. So he's going to defend for that win, defend for his life, whilst Yonti knows he needs to get past for his championship. But one wrong move, and that's the championship over anyway. So, yeah, much rather be in Jesper's shoes than Yonti at the moment. But these guys are so good at their craft and experienced enough that they can deal with that pressure and likely to go down to the wire this one.
I will say as well that Rage F1, the man, the myth, the legend, currently P9. He does have quite a few penalties though, which is unfortunate for him, but to be open to P9 is actually a great job on those medium tyres, so good little job there from Rage.
Yeah, absolutely. Long race to go. Obviously the guys behind him have pitted, but he's got some good advantage over, I think he's ahead of Yakia in terms of that pit delta as lead swaps again, and Yonti does use that DRS to get himself ahead.
And Ben's into the pits actually, so Ben's going for just a little bit of an early pit stop, trying to maybe get an undercut and put some pressure on. He's going to go from those soft tyres to the mediums, not changing the front wings, so didn't get any damage, luckily enough. But we did still have another spin, and Bill has actually gone straight off, so this could be a safety car.
Let's hope not.
It is a full safety car. So Ben's played an absolute blinder then, coming into the pits.
Oh, Rage is into the barrier. Rage is into the barrier.
Oh, and that is heartbreak for Rage F1. That's
such a shame. Throttle, lad. Just ease it out of that. Ease it out, lad.
Once again, curse to the commentator then, unfortunately. I mean, I am prone to curse the commentator. We did have it with Crampy last season.
That's not easy on the throttle, lad.
That is such a shame there from Rage. Just struggling.
It's happened right next to the pit lane, so he should be able to coax that back, and with a safety car, he should be able to put a fresh set of those tyres on and go again. But yeah, where are we in regards to the leaders coming into pits? They're coming into Ravazza now.
And Yonti, crucially, did get ahead of Finn before the safety car was called, so he will get the service first if he comes into the pit straight away, and he does. So the top two are pitting, and yes, the top three pits. So Liam and Maku have definitely got to pit and go onto the medium tyres. There's no point extending these soft tyres. They're not going to do a lot. But the problem for Liam and Maku is even with the 5-second gap or so that they've got, double stacking is going to be tough.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to drop Maku behind Beaker most likely. I did wonder what Beaker would do on the mediums. I wonder if they would play the team game and get him out into the net lead of the race and see if he could throw a bit of...
Beaker as well has gone on another set of mediums, so he's going to have to come in once again for those soft tyres, or the hards possibly, but it's going to be more than likely the soft, so going for a fresh set of mediums, he's committing to that strategy early then, so it's going to be interesting to see with Beaker, and you're right, as you said, that Maku does drop behind Beaker, and Pulu is behind Maku.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Mercedes maybe missed a trick there if they were playing the team game just to get a bit of disruption up the front of the field. But as you say, he's gone on to the medium tyres anyway. So an unlikely strategy, as you say, he's got to stop again. The big news, Yonti has gone on to the hard tyres up the front of the field.
So Yonti then trying to go to the end, 20 laps on a hard set of tyres? Or less than 20 with safety car?
We were expecting around 20 on the mediums anyway. So, and that's why the rest of the field, I think, feel that they can take those mediums to the end. So he's got to be banking on having more life towards the end of the race. But it's going to make that first couple of laps incredibly difficult on warm-up.
Yeah, especially with Finn and Jesper, both on medium tyres behind him. And most of the grid are actually on medium. Everyone's on medium tyres. Even Ben's got a fresh set of mediums. And he's going to be charging from P8. So it's only Rage and Yonti actually on hard tyres.
Yeah, I think Rage didn't really have the option with him on the mediums already. He needs a tyre he can take to the end, and he obviously needs a different compound. But with Yonti, that's definitely a strategical decision. And yeah, I just, this is not the track I would want slow warm up and tricky tyres with the traction zones we got here. But we'll see how it works out. So it's Yonti from Finn from Jesper again. It allows Ben to get back into things as well. He's back on the same strategy as the rest of them, and he's up to P8, so good opportunity for him. And it means all those with tricky starts to the races, Andrews, Jaxie, Rage, Rusty, Yakia, they'll all cruise up to the back of this field as we go green again in a couple of laps.
Yeah, and Harv actually gets a great reset and gets back into P9, so he's gaining points once again. Very impressive from Harv. And just like I said before, I really want to see Harv have a great race. I want to see him have a great finish because he's putting so much time and effort. And it is noticed the amount of practice he does, him, Jaxie, and the rest of the SxS boys. But to see Harv put in so much practice and have some unbelievably bad luck, has to be said, to see him hopefully gain quite a few points here would be a hell of an achievement for the AlphaTauri team.
Yeah, he's had some great pace, and it was just that unfortunate little error that put him back a little bit, but he's right back into it now. Just needs to reset, put his mind to the job again, and there's still some great points on offer today for the AlphaTauri team and Harv.
I will say the big winner then is Bicker, because Bicker, we saw P17 he started, up to P5 now, with another set of mediums, and he can go possibly 20 laps or so on these tyres, but he'll have to come in and pit for softs, and he should have a bit of a fresher soft tyre than some of us around him, and could actually be quite racy to the end.
Yeah, that's what's quite confusing. You know, he would have to go to the end, so surely the hards would have been. So he's just banking on another safety car, but it's just quite a big risk for him, really.
Yeah, I just don't think he wanted those hard tyres for the pace difference. I mean, the hards are going to be slower, especially with warm up, but you do get that longevity out of them. So it does depend on the pace. And Bicker is flying out there. He is comfortable on the medium tyres. Maybe he can get Liam off the line. Maybe get a bit of a gap ahead of Liam. And then if there is no safety car, or even if he does come in pit for the softs, he might get them up to temperature and then ready to go before Liam does, if Liam hits again. But it's going to be so tight actually to call it. There's just so much action everywhere to call.
Absolutely, as there always is. But yeah, you're right. He could be looking to get that gap and then make a late charge on some soft tyres, or banking on the other safety cars.
Oh, sorry to interrupt you, but Rage is just span coming out of Aqua Minerale, so that's a shame for Rage F1.
I thought he might struggle on those hard tyres. It's quite one thing practicing, but another coming out on some hard tyres around this track with no real opportunity to warm them up. But it doesn't look like there's any damage on the car, so you know. He can catch up the back of the field and go again. It's not the end of his day. He's learnt his lesson.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's still got another chance, another reset. So it's going to be a little bit longer then of him getting closer to the grid. That we'll probably have at least 1 or 2 more laps of the safety car then before it comes in. So then Yonki's got it all to do then with these hard tyres. He's got to try and get these tyres warmed up really quickly, and that's going to struggle completely. Then you've got Finn and Jesper right behind, and you're going to be battling in a bit of a DRS train. This is going to actually help Jesper massively because it has closed that 5/10 of a second or so gap that he was struggling with before. So it is going to be tough for Yonti. Oh, and there's been a bit of contact between Maku, Pulu, and Ben Mills, and Harv actually have all had contact under the safety car and received 5-second penalties. So we didn't catch it on board, unfortunately, but we don't know where that contact actually happened. It was coming towards the downhill section in Sector 3, so that is a shame there. Those penalties may have to be looked at after the race.
Yep, as Pulu now makes into pit, so you got to presume he had some front wing damage there, as Harv comes in as well. I was going to say, they're going to hope that there's no pit stop where they can take their penalties and it can get removed. But
Pulu's come back from another set of mediums, but Harv is going for soft tyres. I mean...
that's a mistake at this stage. Unless there's another safety car.
Absolutely, and Harv is actually serving a penalty as well, which I didn't think he could do under the safety car, but the mechanics did not touch the car for 5 seconds and then change the tyres and the wing, so I wonder what's going on there with Harv and how that has been allowed.
Yeah, interesting. I was the same mind of you that I didn't think they could serve it, but they have served it. And they're back out as that pit symbol. I mean, there are still penalties against Pulu's name, but not Harv's, so it does look like it's been cleared, you're right. Interesting. Can be looked at afterwards, but yeah, those soft tyres, he'll be very racy, but we'll need another safety car to get to the end, I think. But Pulu, unfortunate, but can reset and go again.
And, and this also gives Ben Mills that 5-second penalty as well, so if he wants to come get this race win, it's going to be so close to see what happens with the stewards afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's penalties from 5th down to 12th, so there's a lot of shakers and movers from there as the safety car comes in this lap. So Yonti needs to get his tyres up to temperature, needs to get the perfect launch if he's to have any chance of surviving the first few laps, because I think Finn will be pretty desperate to take this lead back. But take us away for the restart, Hardy.
Absolutely then. So Yonti then, as you said, trying to get as much heat into the tyres now. excuse me, as he's got to get as much heat into these especially the rear tyres around here to really get the grip where he needs it. He just seems warming the tyres up a little bit dangerously actually, but of course Finn, no way we're taking till the safety car start-finish line, sorry. So he's probably going to go a little bit later. He's going to try and catch Finn and Jesper off guard. So we will go with Jonty then as he's going to lead us underway when he decides to go. But he's got to be so careful. And he's gone early actually, so he's caught them all napping a little bit. No overtaking allowed yet. And we are racing once again here in Imola. And Liam actually looking really racy, right get on the back of Jesper, trying to make the move, and it's going to have to go to the outside and really try and cut back in. He just can't, just not enough space. He has to be so careful. And Finn actually having got a bad restart there. And Jesper and Finn are going wheel to wheel, coming down towards Villeneuve. And Jesper's had to back out of it because he knows he just can't risk any damage or any contact. And Becker now to P4, Liam P5, just overtakes in action everywhere.
Absolutely super racy restart. Jonty, I thought he went a bit early considering the toe you would have got down that straight, but actually judged it to perfection. And was relying on the rest of them to trip over themselves, and trip over themselves they did. It's status quo with the top three, but you wouldn't have thought that with the action that we've just seen. But yeah, Beaker up into P4 now. Liam and Maku in wait, and Ben is up to 7th at one place then, so he'll be on the back of this train in no time as well.
Crucially,
yeah,
as
perfect
well.
Restart from Jonty.
Yeah, absolutely. Crucially as well, 1.2 second gap currently between Jonty and Finn. So out of the DRS zone. So when we get DRS in a couple laps time, if we can keep it 1.2 seconds at least, then Finn will not get that help that he's going to need to try and get it. But obviously, Jesper will have the DRS to Finn. So this is just going to play into Jonty's hands for quite a bit of time. As Rusty gets a 3-second time penalty, unfortunately for corner cutting. So that is a shame for Rusty's.
Yeah, I can see these guys being quicker over the next few laps, but as you say, crucially, they don't have that DRS assistance, and Jonty's tyres will now pretty much be up to temperature. And, you know, come the end of this stint, they will be in better shape. So he had to survive the first 5 or 6 laps before that swing starts going back in the hard tyre favour, and getting out that DRS zone was absolutely crucial.
I think it's for Hulu as well, sorry. I think he's just gone behind Harv and Jaxie, actually. Jaxie up to P9. Well, lets his teammate go through, realizes his teammate's faster. And I think he's going to be taken by Pulu coming towards Aqua Minerale, just the corner before. And there's actually contact with him and Pulu. So that is just a bit of a shame there for contact. But Pulu then up to P10, Harv P9. A great little battle there.
Yeah, absolutely. Robbing is racing. He managed to get his way past. That's always the danger when you're trying to synchronise a move with your teammate, that you're going to come under fire from behind. But it sort of works out, sort of not. Harver's got the jump over Pulu a little bit, but Jaxie lost the position as a result of it. But yeah, it's looking like the next move shaping up then is Maku, Ben on Maku.
And Maku was given a penalty as well, 3-second time penalty, and DRS now enabled, so this could be a great move here.
Yep, not on this lap, but he will still have the slipstream down into turn 1. Not close enough to think about a move, but I think it's inevitable with the pace Ben has shown so far. But you know, both these Aston Martins, let's not forget how good wheel-to-wheel racers they are. It's not going to be easy for Ben.
Absolutely, it's one thing to close up and catch, it's another thing to pass. So it's going to be one of them where, especially the people for Ben that he does not want to be battling is the likes of Maku and Liam, especially when they've got a team strategy at play at the moment, and we know that they've got incredible pace. And of course, Ben carrying potentially a 5-second penalty from under the safety car wasn't necessarily his fault, but may or may not get removed. We don't know at this point if they will or not. We can only assume they probably will, which should help him. But if it doesn't get removed, then he needs to get a move on straight away. And Maku is not an easy character to pass.
No, absolutely. And he's got to be looking in his mirrors as much as anything as well, because Resurgence Andrews is coming through as well. Looks to have great pace on these medium tyres, and looks like he wants a way past the Aston Martins as well. Absolutely. But he will get DRS onto this straight then. Will he be close enough? It's, as you mentioned before, it's a huge run down to turn 1. You've got to imagine it will be an easy move. There's a slight protest put up from Maku as he tried to show him the inside, but yeah, that DRS far too powerful, and Ben spots his braking zone and makes his way past.
Absolutely great overtake there from Ben Mills then. Fantastic job as he then goes back into P6. Liam, as we said, is actually doing quite a good job trying to stay with Bicker for the best of the rest in the top 5, so great job there. But Jonty actually has lost that 1.2 second gap now. Finn has managed to bring it back down to only 0.3 of a second. So Yonti struggling for a little bit of pace, it seems here.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the problem with the hard tyres. They'll come to him at the end of the race, but they were always going to be slower. And yeah, he's given a little false sense of security early on with that great restart, but now he's going to come under huge pressure from these three behind.
Yeah, and as we said as well for everyone in chat, the driver of the day voting is now open. You have between now and the end of the race, type in DOTD and any driver's name, and at the end they will get awarded driver of the day. So as we get back onto the racing, then Yonti now is going to be looking in his mirrors, because as we've seen time and time again here, that the DRS is just so powerful in race for him. So he's going to have to make this not too easy for Finn. But he's got to think of the championship with him and Jesper, especially with Jesper leading it. So Finn then will look to make the move, and he's going to have to go to the outside and passes him, makes it look quite an easy move. But it might be better for Yonti just to let him through and stick with him than to try and risk having any contact to try and defend from a DRS move.
Yeah, it's a super tricky game for Yonti to play. Obviously that DRS far too powerful here. It was an easy move in the end for Finn, but he needs that win. He needs a couple of cars between him and Jesper, but he also cannot risk not finishing or causing an incident that finds him a long way down the points. So yeah, I mean, it was quite an easy move, but if he can keep himself in the DRS zone now, he just needs to stick with these top four for the next sort of, I would say, 7 or 8 laps or so, and this race will start coming back to him, but that's easier said than done.
Absolutely, and the other thing that Jesper's not going to be happy about is Bicker, Yonti's teammate, right behind Jesper as well. So it's now become a great team little strategy for the two Mercedes attacking the single Alpine. Unfortunately, we lost Safso halfway through the season due to wheel issues, and Safso was actually on form to be a title contender for this season, and would have been in the mix to be one of our first ever returning champions, actually, to get another championship. So as it stands, Jesper and Yonti, then the only two people who can mathematically win a title, we will crown a brand new champion for season 5. I believe. I think
we're going to have a move with the title contenders here. Jesper taking a look at Yonti. Yonti, oh, I forgot how powerful that DRS zone. He looked completely out of it with Finn, but actually ended up on his rear bumper. But yeah, Jesper just reminding Yonti he's there, and I think you're right, with his teammate behind him now. He's going to feel a little more under pressure, because he knows that Beaker will throw it down the inside on the first possible opportunity, and all of a sudden there's a car between them again.
Absolutely, and Bicker knows he hasn't got a lot to lose. He's not in the championship battle. And correction as well, I do believe Yonti has won a championship with us, if my memory serves me correctly. So if Jesper wins it, he will. He might want. Yeah, I think he won it last time. So Jesper would be the new champion, brand new champion of SxS if he does win outright, and Yonti is trying to fight to regain the title and keep hold of it. So this is actually going to be a really good battle. Oh,
super wide from Finn there. I'm surprised that's not an off track, but he carries on underway.
And Harv is retired. Harv has crashed out. Oh, that is another safety car.
It's a safety car.
Oh,
I don't want them, Hardy. I want a clean race.
I do promise that we do have the safety car just as standard as possible. We don't interfere it. So it's just, it is a shame that the game just goes for any incident it's a safety car. And we have had this all season.
Crucially, they've all gone past, apart from Beaker. Interesting.
Well, Bicker had to come in anyway because he had to get onto the soft tyres. So that helps Bicker, but he's going to drop down to at least P8. So, well, actually P7. So he actually, he actually got P6 because the unsafe release, the new feature. So he does gain a place on N Andrews.
The thing is, this is soft tyres. The end. This is perfect territory. I'm shocked the top 5 did not come in. They may do the next time round, but then they're already behind the safety car, so the guys behind are going to catch them. This is going to put the cat amongst the pigeons here, Hardy, because we're going to have Beaker, we're going to have Andrews, we're going to have Maku and Pulu all on brand new soft tyres against old hards and mediums. That's got to be worth 8 tenths to a second a lap.
As should be said as well, Harv in chat said it was controller issues once again, so that is such a shame, Harv. We've been rooting for you all race in the commentary box to have a great race, and it's such a shame, but we know you'll come back for the finale next week in Brazil, and I'm sure you'll go well around there, so keep chin up and hopefully with better results ahead.
Yeah, I'll have to apologise on that, Harv. That was all me. I gave you the old commentator's curse. But this is going to be quite a conclusion to this race, Hardy, because I would now put Beaker as favourite to win this race on those soft tyres.
Yeah, and crucially, Bicker doesn't
and
have any
I don't
penalties as
think
well.
he's going to be holding any courtesy on his way through Jesper either. So
Absolutely, he's got nothing to really lose, nothing to risk in terms of the championship. He just wants to go out and get this win, and if he needs to as well, if he wants to really play the team game, if he can help. I mean, with the fact that Izuki comes into pit, with the fact that Finn and Jesper did not pit to go for even brand new mediums or for soft tyres, with the advantage they would have had on Yonti's hard tyres, then he could even give Yonti the helpful game with his tyres. So it's just so crazy.
we have two halves to this race now. We have Yonti, who's going to have to try and get those hard tyres up to temperature as soon as possible, but he is going to have the advantage later on against those medium tyre runners, but not as big an advantage as he would have had without this safety car. And then you've got a whole host of guys that will be super hungry for that victory on brand new set us off. So do not miss the final 9 laps of these race, fella. Absolutely
do not go anywhere. You do not want to miss this. This is all leading up to an exciting finale next week at Brazil, and that is going to be absolutely nuts. If the championship is not decided here for the drivers, going next week into Brazil, it's going to just be absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way this race is turning out, I think Yonti would take cutting that gap, but he would still want a couple of cars in between him and Jesper, but it's looking like it's going to be pretty difficult to do on those hard tyres. But if you've got 4 pretty quick cars, 5 cars coming through on those soft tyres, Rage also has a brand new set of soft tyres available, as Jaxie tells us that he only had hards available. I'd still take those hards over the mediums and the hard tyres those top 5 have got, so I shouldn't worry, Jaxie.
Absolutely. If cut in this lap, then Rage will get into the back of the pack before we go racing, so good job there from Rage. And Rage actually only P11's only 1 place off Jaxie ahead, so Jaxie's going to have a bit of a battle trying to keep Rage behind. Rage on the soft tyre, Jaxie on the hard. So if Jaxie can get these tyres nice and toasty, then he should have that advantage, and does have a bit more practice. As Beaker, actually, and Andrews has gone into Beaker and had a collision, just giving him a 5-second penalty, and Andrews has crashed out.
There was a Ferrari that just skipped through the field, and I think that all spooked them and started a chain reaction between them. But Finn's gone. Finn has absolutely gone.
So Finn's gone. Then Yonti P2, Jesper P3. Becker did not have a penalty before that, and now he has a 5-second penalty because of the collision with Andrews. So that could get removed once again. So that is a shame for Andrews. There's going to be a lot of post-race stewarding for the stewards to work with. So that is going to be interesting to see the final result even long after this race.
Yeah, absolutely. Beaker all over the back of Liam on those brand new soft tyres. This is going to be a car he wants to get dispatched if he's to get interested in those top 4. Top 4 have made a nice breakaway, and crucially, none of the soft tyre runners have made a dent in those top 5 yet.
Yeah, absolutely. So they've got to get these tyres warmed up and get, especially no DRS for 2 laps either. So Becker really wants to make this move ahead of Liam, close up the gap to Ben Mills, and keep pushing. So this is going to be interesting to see if Becker can do that as they come towards Aqua Minerale.
Yeah, not really a braking zone, but might fancy his chances into the hairpin. He's got so much better traction on the way out of there, but Liam defending very well. He knows if he shows him the outside there's nothing he can do. He'll look to have a run down to Ravazza, but most likely will just try and keep it neat and tidy through there. Oh, no, it's Beaker. He's going to have a go anyway. He's got so much grip, so much better traction, and he's round the outside and can go and attack those top 4 now.
Yeah, it's a great little move there from Becker, and Liam probably thinking a little bit better of it, because we do know that Becker is one of the more aggressive drivers, has to be said. But now then, so once again, the Aston Martin team, Liam and Maku, trying to almost tow each other along, because Maku's getting a great run on Liam. So will Liam let him go, because Maku is on the softer tyres? It should let him go, and he does going through turn 1. So it's a great little bit of team play there. But they do have to be careful of Pulu right behind, because he's going to put the pressure on this pair as Rage gets another 3-second time penalty, but is actually currently in the point at this stand. So that is a hell of an achievement for Rage F1.
Yeah, he has a point. That was Liam definitely letting Maku pass, but not quite as politely as he might have done. But they have made that switch, as Pulu now also on those fresh set of soft tyres now looks to find his way past Liam as well, and Bicker that gap down to 4 tenths on the back of Ben now then.
Yeah, and as we said, the finish still 1.2 seconds ahead of Yonti. Crucially for Yonti, he couldn't keep Finn behind, as Pulu now trying to make a little move onto Liam, but will he think better of it? Because Liam again knows that if he forces him to the outside, he can't make the move, and Pulu gets a mighty run through there. A little bit cautious on the exit actually, but does get a great amount of pace through there. And Liam is going to be struggling on these medium tyres. Pulu on soft tyres, we've seen it time and time again, is extremely confident on these soft tyres. So this is going to be great to see.
You might want to jump up to Beaker and Bent, because Beaker's already there and looking to make his way past.
Absolutely.
Because Beaker then is going to go inside or out. Ben not wanting to commit. He did, in the end, commit to the inside. That was very late, and Beaker had to think twice, but he's definitely got the grip and the pace at this moment on this top 4.
Absolutely. So Beaker then just needs to bide his time carefully. I mean, we do have 6 or so laps left, so there is plenty of time for him to make these moves happen. He doesn't have to rush it. We don't have to doesn't want to do what his teammate did, Yonti, last week, by going for a move that was never really on and causing them to spin out from a P1 to P2. So he's just going to be so careful with Ben Mills. And we know that Ben Mills, ex-Zoo racer as well, he is not someone you're going to just fly around the inside and get straight past him. Ben is going to take every bit of skill to beat. He's a fantastic driver. All these drivers are fantastic, actually. So it's just going to be game on between Ben and Beaker.
Yeah, absolutely. You saw that down into turn 1. Unfortunately, he's going to have to defend from the power of DRS on this one as well, and he's going to need all of his defending wizardry to keep Beaker behind on this one. As long as Beaker keeps it nice and steady, gets a good exit, which he does. Obviously, Ben will have DRS on Jesper ahead, but Beaker, I think, he didn't get as good a run out the corner than I thought he would.
No,
DRS might be enough to keep Ben ahead here.
See, that is such a shame there for Beaker. He just seems to just not get the drive out with the traction coming out of the second Rivazza, and get a little bit squirrely actually coming out of turn 2. So he is just driving the wheels off this car as much as he can. So he just needs to save a little bit for his tyres to try and bring him back towards the end of the lap, and that should give him a better run with the DRS for the reset for the next bit. He closes right up to Ben Mills, and he goes into the back of Ben Mills actually. Had to be really careful because of Ben's braking. But as we said as well, Jesper right on the back of Yonti. Yonti struggling for absolute pace here. Those hard tyres are just not doing him any favour, especially as the front 5 did not pit. So it's just still game on. Yonti still looking to be able to defend from Jesper, but Jesper looking so mighty at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Beaker looking to have a move on the outside again. You're not going to make it around the outside of there, son. And yeah, Jesper is once again caught in that rock and a hard place. He's clearly got the pace over Yonti with the tyres Yonti has. Yonti, I think it will come back to him towards the end, but Jesper doesn't really have the luxury of hanging about because he has 2 very hungry cars behind him, one with nothing to lose and one the teammate of his championship rival on much fresher tyres. Let's see what Beaker can do this time then. Goes to the outside. Crucially, he's got alongside this time, so Ben wasn't able to cover him out. Who's got better on the brakes? Ben will have the inside line. Pretty rude. Beaker has to cut across the sausage curbs. He does stay ahead. I do wonder whether he would have to give that position back.
Yeah, that is interesting. I'm not sure if they'll be able to do it. It might be a post-race thing as he feels he needs to. But, I mean, look now. Maku is closed up right to the back of Ben because of that. So Ben's struggling now for a little bit of pace with these tyres. And it just shows you the difference between brand new soft tyres, especially when this front 5 did not pit. So I'm not sure if Ben did pit or not. But Maku now looking very racy. We do have a car in the background off, and it's Rage F1. That is such a shame. He is still P10. I think he is a minute ahead of Yuki, so he should still take that 10th position. But just not a great little spin there. But considering the amount of practice he's managed to put in, and his first time with a CSL DD wheel, it's a great job if he can get a point home.
Jesper has got past Yonti during that. I didn't see it, but he has now made his way into P2, and currently that would be enough for the 18 to 15. No, it wouldn't currently. Yeah, I don't know. So I think Yonti's going to have to release Beaker here, go after Jesper, and then try and back him into him. But it's the only choice they got, really.
Absolutely. And if on the last lap, if he still hasn't got anything, give the position back. Absolutely. So you can see him there. Maku then, yeah, Maku just looking so racy, and Beaker then closing up to Yonti. And Maku does get ahead of Ben Mills, so great job there from Maku. Maku is flying once again out there. As we were saying on screen, as you can see, the top 10. Jesper then 195 points, Yonti 175. He is 20 points ahead of him and needs a 27-point lead. So this is going to be close as it stands.
Yeah, absolutely. Maku making the same move that Beaker did last time, but managed to keep it on the track. So definitely no question marks about that move. Great move, and he's got all of the tyre life and the pace to worry the podium here. So he'll get after Yonti and Beaker. Those two still haven't swapped round positions. I'm wondering if they're waiting for the DRS zone here. I mean, Yonti has managed to keep in touch with Jesper, and I would expect him to start coming back at him with those hard tyres as those mediums start to get towards the end of their life now. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what the two Mercedes do down the pit straight here.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if he lets him go or not. I mean, I agree with you completely. I would let your teammate Bicker go, try and put the pressure on to Jesper, and if he hasn't got much past him at all, or hasn't been able to get the effective one, give Jonty the place back at the end, and then nothing's lost, nothing's gained. But at least then you give him the chance to go for it. But it just seems like Jonty at the moment is still staying ahead of Bicker and just managing to stay in touching distance with Jesper. The other thing as well that has to be said is now that Finn doesn't have DRS, Jesper and Jonty have closed up quite a bit to them. So if Jesper gets involved in the contact with Finn, then Jonty's got a great chance to get even more points. So it's so close.
Yeah, it's such a difficult decision to make. They've also got the threat of Maku and Ben still behind, so if they get the swap wrong, they could put Jonty into the position where he's being challenged from behind, and then swapping those positions is much more difficult. But yeah, he is hanging on, and I do expect these hard tyres to come back. You know, Jesper is going to be very reluctant to make a big dive bomb move on Finn, which should allow these two Mercedes to continue to close up as Jonty gets incredibly close there and gets a 3-second time penalty, crucially, for cutting the chicane.
Yeah, and that will definitely not be removed. That was just taking far too much around the limits. And crucially, Jesper and Finn do not have a penalty. So if he even gets past Jesper, he's got to find 3 seconds to get ahead of him. It's just not happening. So it's at this stage, it's so... This is where I would definitely let Bicker now go. This is where you need to let him put the pressure into Jesper. Bicker is not fighting for the championship. Let your teammate go. Let him put the pressure onto Jesper and try and force Jesper into an error. And if he gets that error, then give Jonty the place and give him the points. So they need to do it now if they're going to try it. But it's so hard to get to work between them.
I'd almost say it makes it more difficult now, though, because you're losing more time. In the position he's in, he would still go into the final race if Beaker backed off enough to not drop a position with a chance. But if he drops back behind, he suddenly puts himself at risk from being behind Maku and Ben as well. He needs the fastest way to the finish here to stay as close to Jesper as possible. But as you say, you get Beaker involved and get himself up the inside of Jesper, and all of a sudden, as there's a massive crash in the background, and that is, it's Maku.
Oh, it's Maku.
It's Maku.
Such a shame. He does such an incredible race, great pace, and just once again a victim coming out of Aqua Minerale. It's such a shame. But I don't think we will get a safety car because it's not enough time for one to come out, so it will be yellow flags in sector 2 and 3 for a little while longer. So that is such a shame. Heartbreak for the Estonian.
What a race he was having, and that's such a shame as he looked poised to get involved with these top four.
Yes,
so Jesper now looking.
Finn.
Yeah, he's having a go around the outside. Jonty trying to get interested as well. Jesper does keep it ahead. He's got to be careful here because Finn has got nothing to lose, and he'll want this race win more than anybody today. He makes a move around the outside.
And Jonty gets a great release, actually, and gets around the inside of Jesper. And that is a great release there for Jonty, just to get ahead of Jesper. So that is not going to help Jesper in the championship battle, trying to keep his lead. But he knows he is faster than Jonty, and crucially, he might get DRS as well. But then allow his teammate as well to Bicker, and both Mercedes get through. That is not ideal for Jesper.
Turning attack into defence there, and unfortunately it hasn't worked out for him. And now the Mercedes have got to try and run away, because as it stands, Jonty will still finish behind Jesper. So what do you do now? Does the team order go out to Beaker? Does he start to try and back Jesper 3 seconds away?
That's exactly what you'd have to do, but it'd be so hard to do, and in the sake of fairity and trying to keep it clean, it's just not going to be possible. But then as it comes across the line, then Finn will take the win, and he's earned that win today. Absolutely brilliant drive. Jonty will actually take P3, Jesper P2, Ben Mills P4, Bicker drops down to P5. Of course, we do have penalties still pending. Liam actually jumps up to P5. So this could all still change even post-race with the penalty removals possibly coming the way. So as it stands, Bicker P6, Pulu P7, Jaxi actually getting P8. That is an incredible job from Jaxi to score. I think it's the first time he's going to score points this season. So that is a hell of an achievement for Jaxi. A P9, the boy himself, Rage F1. Going to get a couple of points, and Yuki will take P10 then, if all still ends the way it is. But it has to be said though, Jaxi, after seeing his teammate unfortunately DNF, Jaxi I don't think has scored points at all this season until now. That is one hell of a drive from Jaxi.
Brilliant result, yeah.
Brilliant result from Jaxie.
He had pace all the way through that, and even on those hard tyres, he found a way to warm them up and get it to the flag in a great finishing position. I thought we had one more lap to go there. That's why I was hypothesising as to whether B could back them into it. But crucially, Ben also had the penalties. So even if we do see some no penalties removed, and this is your final finishing position with those top three, Yonti will still go into that final round with an opportunity to win. It's tougher because he's lost points again, but it will still be mathematically possible. So unless the penalties swing things massively, we still have a championship battle going into the final round.
So the game is giving Beaker driver of the day, and I'm going to look in a minute to see if anyone chat is put for driver of the day. I mean, I'm going to give it... Do you know what? Because he finished the race and got his first point, I'm going to give it to Jaxie. Because Jaxie's earned that P8 and done really well. I was going to give it to Maku, but it's unfortunately he hasn't finished. But, I mean, Jaxie to be up there, P8, he spent the entire season struggling at the back of the grid. He's put loads of effort in and practice and trying to get the points, and finally does the job and picks up the pieces when his teammate doesn't, unfortunately. I'm going to give driver of the day to Jaxie. Who's your vote going to, Jay? I'm
going to have to give it to Finn for me. Those Red Bulls have had such pace recently, but they just haven't had the rub of their green. But amongst a huge DRS chain and a lot of pressure from the championship rivals and more, he held off to take the pole to flag on that one. So I've got to give it to our race winner. But yeah, I absolutely second Jaxie as well. He's brilliant result there and some great points.
Yeah, so we'll have to have a look then, see who will actually get driver of the day, because it is split, it's tied, but we will sort it out later then. So Finn then with the win currently, Jesper P2, Yonti P3, Ben Mills P4, Liam P5, Beaker 6, Pulu 7, Jaxie P8, Rage F1 P9, and Yukia P10, Rusty's Best the Rest P11. But that obviously could all change post-race because of penalties on the safety car, so it's just going to be interesting to see what is going to happen and how it's going to play out. I think it's time to go speak to some drivers.
Oh, yes, please.
Absolutely. So let's see who we got first then. Shall we go into the Mercedes team and go speak to Beaker and Yonti?
After you, my friend.
Hello.
Hello.
I don't know where really to start with that. Absolute chaos. At one point, we didn't think the tyres were going to be right with the hard tyres.
It wasn't right. The game chose for me.
Oh, the game chose for you. That is such a shame. But I mean, how did that race go for you then throughout the entire 32 laps?
I mean, it went okay. I think I did in qualifying realistically as well as I could have. I knew my strength would be race pace once again, and yeah, I got a very good start of the line there. Unfortunately, I think Ben pushed me off in turn 2 as he ran across some curbs, I guess, and just ran wide, trying to keep his position, I think, but so I fell back down to P4 after being P2 for a small moment in the start of the race. Rest of it was pretty okay. I think the soft stint, me and Finn were both on quite equal pace, I think. But yeah, then I managed to pass him just before a safety car came out, which I thought was a blessing. Now I felt, I have the lead, I get to try and get away without anyone having DRS and stuff like that. And I go to my MFD, I put, medium tire selected, very good, and I go into the pits, and my car is coming up to the pit crew, and I see hard tires in their hands, and I'm yeah.
I mean,
to be honest, I think my pace held up better on the hards than I expected. I was still able to keep up there, but yeah, then final nail in the coffin was obviously a penalty that I managed to get then in the chicane in sector 3. The brake marker board was missing, so I missed the braking point a bit, locked up, and went over the second part of it. Yeah, final lap battle. I did that mainly for fun, and yeah, still managed to finish P2 on track at least. But you know, it is what it is.
We did wonder with those tyres whether you tried a different strategy. It's obviously hugely disappointing to know that wasn't your choice at the end of the day. But you know, you fought all the way through. 2 questions then, really. I guess with Beaker coming through on those soft tyres, were there discussions about swapping it round and letting Beaker loose on those front two? And barring any penalties or penalty removals, I mean, you still do go into the championship conclusion at Brazil with an opportunity to take the title mathematically. So how do you approach that one?
Well, the opportunity that I have is that I win with the fastest lap and Jesper doesn't get any points, so I'm feeling optimistic.
You just go for the win, right?
Well, yeah, I can't do anything. I can't do more than I can, so I'll just go there. I'll drive, see what happens. You never know. It's racing anyway, but. And yeah, regarding that question with Bika, he came up behind me on softs. Obviously, at that point, he had 2 5-second penalties that I imagine he is gonna get removed. Very, for sure, those happened by him being hit during the safety car. There was some interesting stuff with the Ferraris trying to get past the queue there.
We did see that, yeah.
During the restart process there, I mean. That was a bit ridiculous, and Bika got hit, I believe, twice and got 10 seconds for it. But on top of that, he had a 3-second penalty for corner cutting as well, so I thought if he could be so kind and stay behind there for a bit longer, as I felt like my tires would be able to compete near the end, which they were able to. But
no thoughts on releasing him up, onto the back of Jasper then?
It crossed my mind, but in the end, I didn't really see what we
could gain from it.
Well, maybe if he really disturbed Jesper somehow during overtaking, but I don't like that sort of stuff really.
That's very sportsmanlike.
Yeah, I like it being clean.
And with you, Beaker, then, I mean, starting 17th, it seems like a good result. And with the penalties at the end, you would have been even higher up. Talk us through your race and those final 5 or 6 laps on those soft tyres that looked pretty intense, to say the least.
Was the question at me? Because I just my PC just died, so I just came in again.
No worries. I was just going to say, talk us through your race. Starting 17th, you came back through the field. Barring penalties, you would have been even higher up. And on those soft tyres, making a charge at the end looked like a pretty exciting last couple of laps.
Yeah, I didn't want to get in the way of Jonty going for Jesper though, so I sat there at the end. It was a funish race. It was against at first the first safety car I was totally at the wrong point for anyone who start on the mediums, so I went to the mediums again because I anticipated another safety car, and of course I was right again. So the second one I could go to the softs, and I lost 1 position I think, so it turned out okay in the end, but yeah, it was interesting race. The penalty shit was a bit weird, but yeah, was I like this track. I mean, I had fun racing. That's the main point,
right?
Yeah.
Well, I think we'll have to work out the points. I think the drivers will still be up for grabs, and I think the constructors, there's an outside chance as well. You definitely gained points on Alpine with 43 available per round. There's still an opportunity. So, great race from both of you. They're certainly not without incident, these races at the moment. Hope you guys can have a great race and a good result in Brazil.
Thank you.
Yes, hopefully you have the best. Excuse me, sorry. Hopefully you'll have a great race out in Brazil then, and we're going to go drop down to the Red Bull boys. So take care tonight then, guys, and we will see you next week, Bika and Jonty.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bloods.
Hello, Red Bull.
Hello.
I'm going to speak first of all to Finn. Congratulations on the win, Finn. Keeping it clean, keeping it what appeared to be one hell of a drive, bit of a battle, bit of a scrap of the DRS between you, Jonty, and Jesper. How did that race go from your point of view?
Great. I'm lost at words, but yeah, it went well.
I mean, yeah, well is definitely an understatement for you. I mean, 25 points plus a point for the pole position as well. And I'm not sure if you got fastest lap, did you?
I probably didn't, but I don't think I had the fastest pace because I wasn't able to get out of the DRS. But
I shouldn't worry too much about that. The DRS tier was ridiculous, to be honest.
It's very overpowered.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but no, I mean,
I thought I lost it on the final lap when Tespe, but I managed to scare him into turn 1, and he got bad exit, so I managed to challenge him on for the second chicane.
well, we were talking about that. The advantage you had on those guys behind is they're going for a championship, and you just want to win. So I don't think, they want to stick their nose in. You could be a bit more aggressive with it, but
Yeah, true. But I didn't want to lose it on the last lap.
oh, nobody does, of course not.
But yeah,
But no,
hectic race.
Yeah, I feel from both of you that was a result a long time coming. I think you've been the fastest team as a pairing, and on any other day, probably the fastest drivers, just not the results going your way. So is that quite satisfying from both of you to finally sort of get results that you think your pace deserved?
Definitely. I think it will be a 1-3 as well, because I had a penalty that can be removed from the safety car. It was a silly one for contact. So yeah, we've both had our share of bad luck this season, and I've lost a lot of points in a few races. So I can't race next week either. So this will be my last race this season. So I'm fairly pleased.
Oh, that is an absolute shame, because I really looking forward to seeing you race in Brazil and fight at the front as always. So that's an absolute shame to not see you next week. But of course, we know that Finn will be going into Brazil feeling on cloud 9.
I don't know if I'm more satisfied with the win or my first pole. But
Pole position's always special, right? Knowing you got the most out of the car compared to anyone else. It's a feeling I don't think I've ever had in the F1 game, so enjoy it.
I think I've had it once in an open lobby, and that's it. So yeah, definitely enjoy the pole, the win. So of course, next week then is going to be the finale in Brazil, and as you said, Ben's not going to be here, unfortunately. But so Finn, then how do you go around Brazil? Do you think you can get another back-to-back win and end the season on an incredible high?
Brazil is a good track for me, so I'll see what I can do.
Awesome.
Imola was supposed to be my worst track, but yet again I won.
You've been on your worst track.
Yeah, and last time I said Portimao was my worst track.
I'd hate to see you on a good day on your best track then.
Yeah, that'd be
stands a
scary.
chance.
Maybe I'm just underestimating me, or overestimating others.
Maybe. I sometimes find that tracks that I hate, I'm quick at.
Maybe it's because the tracks are new.
Yeah, maybe.
But,
And how was that race for you, Ben? I mean, obviously from second on the grid, it's slightly backwards, but you were right up there in it, and obviously the incident put you back, and still a great comeback to P4 and what you think be a podium.
I'm pleased. Yeah, it was when I spun, I was like, that's it. I'll probably get P4 at best. Like, if there was no safety car, I still think I could have got up to near the Aston Martins and P5, P6. But after that, after the safety car, and obviously with penalties, I just kept it clean and gained the positions at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great comeback and a great double result from you. And Finn, I hope you can go well. And Ben, you've been exciting to watch this season, even if the luck hasn't come your way. I hope you guys will both be back for season 6.
Yeah,
I think you've got the pace.
it has been pretty unlucky for us the last few races.
It goes that way,
Monza went well, but Belgium, Singapore, Japan, those has had problems. But yeah.
They were some absolutely crazy races, to be fair. So
it's been very enjoyable. Thank you to all of you guys that organising it and running it. It's been very fun.
But it's our pleasure. We enjoy organising this, and obviously season 6 is going to be starting in a few weeks' time. So obviously it'd be great to see you both back and fighting, hopefully for the win once again. Hopefully possibly to be crowned season 6 champion. So it'd be great to see you both in fighting form. So have a great evening, and we're going to drop down and speak to the Ferrari boys next.
You too. Bye.
Hello, Ferrari.
Hello.
Excuse me. So let's just start this then with the oldest driver on the grid, Yukiya Dragon.
Okay.
Yukiya, not the best of races for you, unfortunately. Did see some incidents on the safety car with the Ferraris. I didn't see which one it was, or if it was both of these or one of these.
Yeah, it was either one.
It did cause a lot of problems with penalties and give the stewards a bit of a headache for penalty removal, and it's going to give Safso a massive headache when he has to work out the standings and everything. But apart from that, how did the race go from you?
Well, I still got a point in the end. So it pays off just to finish because I was dead last. I was even lapped. It was a bit confusing though when Sasso came and said, "Oh, when you can overtake." But it was like in the last sector just before the race was about to start. So it got this really weird situation where I was like a couple seconds in front of the leaders.
Yeah, absolutely.
What did happen with that safety car then? So we saw the Ferraris, well, one of them coming straight back through. Is it something on
Yeah,
your screen that was saying something different? Or
Sasso came on the channel and he said, "Yeah, it's okay if you can to overtake and unlap yourself."
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's what I thought, and then I went for it. Yeah, and the game allowed it as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely interesting.
We will.
We
will
in the commentary box. So
investigate
that is
investigate that in due course.
I thought it was weird as well because if you allow something like that, you should have a procedure ready, right, to do it properly and let people go like in the first sector, so they have a little bit of a lead.
Yeah, we'll need to see.
Or you're unaware of.
I guess the stewards will need to see perspectives and some replays of it, but I don't actually know if it was you guys coming back through that caused all those incidents, or if it was just them having it on their own time. But if you were doing what you were being told to do, then
Otherwise I wouldn't have done it, and I would have stayed in position and then let everybody pass.
Well, I think you keep yourselves comfortably ahead of McLaren on the points. I think with Tours' DNF, you would have made up a little bit on Williams as well. So there's still an outside chance of P6 in the constructors going into the final round. How do you look forward to Brazil?
Well, I hope it's gonna be better than this one and not be being lapped. That was really bad, and I put so much effort in it. So yeah, a bit disappointed. But for Brazil, again, put a lot of effort in it, and I hope it's gonna be better.
Yeah, that's motor racing at the end of the day, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but
that's part of it.
It can happen. I've put weeks and weeks of practice into endurance races just to be taken out in the first couple of corners of a 12 hours race. It happens.
Yeah.
So.
But still, again, I mean, I got the point, right? I just stuck in there and hope for the best. I still got the top 10 finish, so happy with that.
There you go. It's points. Points mean prizes.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, next season it will mean points mean prizes, won't it?
Yeah, I saw.
Absolutely. Yeah, we got the announcement from a few days ago about the new prize pool that we're going to be having for the win, top three, and the thanks to our sponsors SimSoc and Foxworth Autosport. So it is going to be just one of those things that if you can keep getting points, you can get prizes. So obviously we'll hopefully see you for season 6. Rusty, of course, you're racing today, filling in for Keo.
Yeah.
The other driver, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll be back next week or if you're going to be racing once again, but I don't know how much practice you've been able to get for Imola, but it did seem like you were a little bit unlucky in this race, but did have a decent drive.
Yeah, I mean, I had a bit of practice, not much, but I got some, and so I was able to set really high 115s. But at the start of the race, I had a good start, but then unfortunately something happened, and I think my wing came off, so I had to come in for medium tires, and that kind of hindered my race from the start. And then again on the safety car restart, I lost my wing again, so probably not the greatest at starts, but came in for pits again, and it gave me my old tires back, which wasn't the greatest, but yeah, managed to keep it clean and actually finish this race. But we move on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you do race next week, do you think you'll get... sorry, let me start again. If you do race next week, we are going to be at Brazil for the final race of Season 5, so do you think you'll go well around Brazil?
Yeah, I think Brazil suits my sort of driving style a lot better. Much more flowing track, a lot less stop-starting than maybe Japan, where I struggled. So yeah, hopefully I can potentially fight for a point.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you can get points to end the season out, it would be a fantastic job from both of you, especially for the Ferrari season, for the season 5, and then going into season 6. Hopefully, having that little bit of a break. So at the end of season 5, we will be doing a fun race event on the Assetto Corsa, like we always do, and then we'll have a shakedown event, and then season 6 will be beginning, I believe, on December 3rd. Excuse me. And hopefully you come in a bit more refreshed, ready to attack season 6, and hopefully get as many points as you can, and points, obviously, as Jay said, do main prizes next season. So hopefully you'll have a great season ender next week. So it's great to see you both once again fighting to try and get points, and well, congratulations, Yuki, to getting that last point as well.
Yeah.
Which, as it stands, obviously we do have to investigate penalties post race, but we'll keep everyone up to date. So cheers for that. We are going to go and speak to the Aston Martin boys, so we will catch you later. Have a great evening and enjoy the rest of your night.
Yeah, thank you guys as well.
Yes, boys.
It's time for the Aston Martin boys then. So I'm going to speak first of all to Maku, just because I want to say, first of all, Maku, that qualifying pace out of nowhere, it seemed, from P6, P7 straight into P3 was a fantastic achievement. And then during that race, especially the second half, you just seemed to come alive on those soft tyres. How did that race, before the unfortunate DNF, of course, but how did that race was going for you?
Controlled. Weird race, to be honest, because unlike usual, there was just a weird calm to it. Maybe because I've had a really exhausting week or mentally challenging week, but just overall the race was a bit more controlled. Felt a lot less nerves than usual, but medium pace was just lacking a bit in the middle stints. So really, the soft pace was there.
Yeah, it did seem like a qualifying. As soon as you put those soft tyres on, just blistering pace, fantastic. And I know you're going to be a bit upset with the way it ended with the DNF, of course, but it has to be said, that race was, you kept it entertaining and alive. You had a great overtake on Ben Mills. You and obviously Liam were doing a great team strategy, a great team job to keep towing each other along, it seemed. And we're looking to obviously capitalise from last week's double podium. And yeah, it's unlucky this week for you. And I know that next week with Brazil at the end, you'll come back and have a great race. And yeah, if you've had a busy week and a mentally challenging week, then it's going to play on your mind a little bit, of course. So hopefully next week things will be a bit more settled and you'll be able to go into Brazil on a high and ready to, if you carry the pace you've had today in Brazil, I could see you winning Brazil. It was an insane pace from you, Maku.
Thanks.
So then, moving on to Liam then. Liam, once again, the bridesmaid's bridesmaid. It just seemed to struggle a little bit in terms of outright. I think he finished 5th in the end.
It's going to be 6th.
But yeah. It could be 6th with penalties.
Isn't that a page girl, by the way? That bridesmaid.
There's a page boy. I don't know if it's a page girl.
What's the... Anyway, I'm distracted. Sorry, carry on with the interview.
Yeah, great to see you keep up with the conversation of racing, but that's fine. But yeah, so it did seem a little bit...
Okay. Shade there.
Well, you did have commentator's curse. So, but anyway, Liam, as we were saying then, it didn't seem quite as... I don't know, we expect a lot from you during the races. Maybe you qualify 7th or 8th, and then you come to the race and you finish 2nd and 3rd, hence the bridesmaid. How did that race go for you then?
I felt like I had the pace through the way out, just consistent, but the safety cars just kept screwing over. I could have done a better job in quali, but I crashed out. I reckon I could have qualified P5, P6. I think I should have done what Maku did, pitted for the softs throughout the end because no one else pitted. And those softs just had a massive advantage on everyone else. So I reckon it could have been a lot better result.
Well, that's the thing, wasn't it? You were the first guy in line for those guys that just come out of the pits. If you, as you said, had maybe got a better qualifying position or a couple of places up, you might have been protected a bit. But those guys at the front held on pretty well. Unfortunately, you were just the first in line trying to hold on.
But had some good racing. Pulled at the end. Got a bit close. Yeah, it's just consistent through the race, really. Didn't make any mistakes, really. Had a few little slips here and there, but apart from that, it was a clean race. apart from getting rear-ended in the safety car. That's it.
Yeah, can you give us a view on what did happen during that safety car? Because we've heard the two Ferraris were asked to make their way through, but
Yeah,
was that the cause of the chaos that we saw, or was it something else?
I don't know. We let the Ferraris pass. They got up to like P3, but the safety car was coming in. So, but I think Andrews might have forgot to slow down because everyone at the front just slowed down suddenly, as they do for the restart. I don't think Andrew expected it, and I think he went into the back of Beaker, and then he went into the back of me, which gave Beaker the 10 seconds, and then me 5 seconds, and I saw Andrews in the wall. Yes, it was just a domino effect.
Okay, so potentially unrelated to those two Ferraris going through.
Yeah, one guy hit the rear, and so on. Just bumped each other.
Oh, good luck, stewards, for that one. I wouldn't like to be one of you.
Safso's on it right now.
Good luck, Safso.
Yeah, absolute best of luck, Safso, with that. So moving on to Brazil then next week, how do you feel you and Marco and the Aston Martin team are going to cope going into Brazil? Obviously, a different track, last race of the season. How are you going to approach it?
Well, I think it's my strongest track out of the lot. I did well in season 2. I had good pace. It was raining, so I don't know, but I feel like I'm got good pace there. So, and Maku's done good today in qualifying and the race. So I reckon it should be a good result. Hopefully, a 1-2.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully you can get another double podium again at least. So that'd be the dream to see you doing so well again. So obviously you've got to wish you the best of luck and hope you have a great evening. But before we go, of course, we've got to go to the man of the hour who finally comes out of the combox as his first ever bit of driving in the game. Twitch.tv/rage_F1 himself. P9, buddy.
Actually, P9.
It was P9, I believe, at the end you got.
I thought I was
points.
I thought I was P10.
No,
so I thought I got 1
think
point.
Crashed.
Oh,
Yeah,
Maku crashed. Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, it could have been more. Like, I know that sounds ridiculous, but I could have been much better. But it's just
you
how
had
it goes.
some great pace, and you were closing on. I think it was
Jaxie
at the time, wasn't it? Before you had that little instance.
I had a little spin going into the second lot of chicanes. My quali pace was really good. I was actually quite surprised. I started practicing like an hour before the race, and that's the first time I've ever raced on F1 2021. So, well, like as in properly. And I was about 6/10 up on my last quali lap, and I fucking binned it going out of Aqua Minerale. So I could have been, I think, a little bit faster than Jaxie and some of the Ferraris, but yeah, I spun. I had so many incidents that race that were holding me back. Like my overtake was on all the time; I couldn't turn it off. So, like down the straights, I was just on 0% every time, so I was slow. My controller turned itself off, or my wheel turned itself off into the last chicanes, and I went off into the gravel and had to do my wing. Luckily, it came when Big Boy Bill crashed. Was it Big Bill?
Oh yeah, when we saw it on board, because Jay gave great commentary of trying to guide you out of the gravel. So,
oh man, I was trying to get my overtake button to work, and I was in the settings screen, and I came out of the settings screen. All of my wheel just turned off, so I had to then refresh my wheel mid race, and it was a bit of a nightmare. That middle part, I was going well. I was in the lower top 10 at that point. I was on a good tyre strategy if the safety car wasn't to come out, so. It's just one of those things. I spanned twice under the safety car as well.
Yes, we did.
Never mind.
We did see one of the spins under the safety car, but considering you only had an hour practice, the first time you've ever turned a wheel in the F1 games, and you're a bit under the weather as well, so get well soon.
I know. I've got AIDS.
He also did the entire race stuck in overtake mode.
Yeah, so I mean, the overtake mode fucked me. I think I could have come 8th. I think I might have been able to beat Jaxie. But yeah, never mind. One of those things.
Yeah, well,
I got oofed on the restart as well by Alpha Tori. Not too sure which one. Got oofed on the last restart.
Right, yeah, we'll definitely have a look at that then.
No, it doesn't matter. I don't mind. I was on the inside, and it was a general F1. You know, get oofed around when wheels hit each other.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll let you go.
Well, next
week, so they're going, please, for the love of God, don't give me any more incidents to report anyway. So.
Yeah. Safso is going to be drinking a lot of coffee, staying up all night to work this out, it seems.
It's so much easier on this new wheel, this game.
Well, hopefully, will you be back in the comp box next week? Do you think, or do you want to race out the
Yeah,
last race
if I'm not dying, yeah, I'll come back.
Awesome. Well, hopefully you don't die, and if you do, I will take that wheel off you at least. That can be my gift.
Okay.
So hopefully you get well soon, and hopefully, as I said before, you Aston Martin boys, hopefully you have a great race next time out. And Rage, you go and get some much needed rest.
What I was going to say, Maku's pace in qualifying was crazy. It was a 10th short of the pole. 10th off pole, like.
Oh, we were well aware.
We were absolutely astonished by
Crazy
how
pace.
crazy that pace is. So Maku,
That was like a second and a half, like quicker that we did some practice before. We were doing, I think the fastest I saw you did like a low 16. I know we were running around doing practice, but to come it out and bosh like a low 14 like that, ooh, speedy.
yeah. So Maku, I mean, take that pace and take it to Brazil and go get that win, boy, because we know it's inside you can get the win. So we believe in you completely for that. So have a great race next time out, Maku.
Yes, from Maku.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you for answering, Maku. So we're going to leave you to it. Have a great evening, and we're going to go drop down and speak for the AlphaTauri boys.
Enjoy.
Thank you. AlphaTauri, Harv and Jaxie. First of all, I think as it stands, Jaxie is getting driver of the day because it was split, but we are going to have to review it. But as it stands, I believe Jaxie gets driver of the day. Jaxie getting points is just a huge achievement and a huge credit to you for the amount of practice and time you put into the game and into racing. How did that race go from your end, Jaxie?
Well, towards the end, it sort of... I mean, towards the start, I actually got spun around by a Mercedes, but I'm not sure who it was. Well, probably it was Spiga, but yeah. But yeah, I kind of recovered off that pretty quickly. It was overall chaos really in that race. I'm surprised there wasn't more than there was safety cars. So yeah, just happy to get points really.
Yeah, I mean, we have been saying for a long time the points are going to be coming. You know, we've seen it with Harv, your teammate, doing a great job. I mean, unfortunate today with DNF, but to see that the amount of practice you boys are putting in and to get the rewards. And I mean, I know it's right at the end of the season, but I mean, this is putting you in a great position for the start of season 6. You used to come out with points already cleared from season 5. Gives you that great motivation and that confidence to hit the ground running for season 6. So getting points today is a great achievement, Jaxie. Do you feel that next week in Brazil, then final race next week for season 5, do you think you'll go well and carry on getting, possibly getting even more points and getting, P8, P7 maybe?
That's what I'm hoping for, but it's not a track that I'm really familiar with, so I've got to try and put a little bit more practice than usual in. But yeah, just unfortunate with Harv's DNF, and yeah.
Yeah, we will say Harv. If it's someone you want to have a voodoo doll of right now, you can make one of TwinBarrelJay for the case of the commentator. Unfortunately,
I'm so sorry, my friend.
It was so upsetting because we were just praising you, saying this is a great result so far for Harv. This is what we want to see, and then the DNF happened. So, tell us how the race went, Harv, up until that moment.
It was going pretty well, apart from under the safety car. But I don't really know what happened there. Just everyone in front of us braked. I think they went into each other, and I just couldn't slow down. So I went into the back of them, got wing damage, and had to pit. But it was that far back in the lap. I didn't have time to change my tyre selection, so I had to go on to softs, and I couldn't last the rest of the race. And I was about to pit with about 6 laps left. I think it was about 6 laps left, about a pit, and then controller goes off and DNF. So
that is an absolute shame. We saw Marco not taking part today due to controller issues as well. But I mean, obviously, next week Brazil. The pace you had today was fantastic. Really well, great job up until the moment it did go wrong. Unfortunately, Brazil. Then is Brazil one of your stronger tracks? I think you'll be able to take the confidence going into Brazil and hit the ground running, and try and get more points.
Yeah, it's a track I'm pretty familiar with. Raced on it quite a bit, and just hopefully, if I get a good result in Brazil, it'll carry on for the start of next season and gain some confidence and get some good results.
Well, absolutely. Well, I mean, we wish you both the best of luck going into Brazil, and hopefully we will return for season 6. You know, it's great to see that the time and the effort you do put in is getting rewarded. You know, you are getting points generally. I know it didn't work out today, half unfortunately, but hopefully, you know, next time in Brazil, you both come across the line and get great points and end the season on an absolute high and an absolute belter for you both.
Yeah, just carry it on till next season. Have a good season, hopefully.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I hope you two have a great evening then. We're going to go and drop down to speak to the Alpha and Mayo boys. So take care and have a great evening.
You too.
Cheers. You too.
And now it's
Okay,
time for the Alpha and
finally.
Mayo team. We're so sorry. There's just a lot to get through, and obviously the hectic safety car issues.
What could possibly be more important than us?
I mean, save the best to last, though, you could say.
Let me get out the dictionary and read through it.
Ooh. Okay, he said that to Pulu as well. Okay, well, let's start with Pulu, because Pulu did finish the race, so let's go with Pulu. Pulu, how did that race go for you? We did see a lot of chaos, it has to be said. There was a safety car issue with the Ferraris involved, a lot of drivers gaining penalties that should be getting removed post-race. We've still got to work out about the championship. I know we've seen chat in the Discord about, well, has Jesper won it or not? At this point, I don't know yet. It's getting figured out, and it should be, if I'm right, going to the final race in Brazil. So how did that race go from the Alfa Romeo perspective of you, Pulu?
It went quite well up until that safety car collision, where I lost a bit of my front wing. So I basically had to pit, lost a few places at the restart, and then just finished the race, and yeah, finished like 7th, I think.
Yeah, P7. Still some decent points.
But do the 5 seconds get removed if you served them already?
That's something that Safso has got to work out with me and Rage for the rule.
They weren't last time around.
Because we've got to have a look. If it wasn't removed last time because you've already served it, then I don't think we remove it now because you have served it. It's one of them where if it's served, then we can't necessarily remove it. But I mean, we have to have a look at it. I mean, we are addressing it for season 6 as well. We are trying to clear up safety car issues and
because
grey areas.
Yuck's penalty last time around was also not removed, even though he served the 5 seconds. He served it in the pits.
Yep. So we will double check it with Safso. Safso knows it a lot better than I do at this moment in time. We will get double checked or not, and if we have to go back and update races for the season 6, we will. But I mean, it is just one of those things where it was chaos. I believe Safso had told the Ferrari drivers they could go and unlap themselves. The game allowed them to do that, and then there was an incident which we don't know if that was because of that. At what time that was given, but it just seemed to catch a lot of drivers off guard, and then there was collisions and penalties across from like P4 down to 12. So they are getting looked at. I can say that right now. Safso is going right through them. Bless him. He's not going to get any sleep tonight. He's going to go through them all, and over the next few days we'll post things up. And excuse me. And obviously, if there's any other incidents that have gone on, please do post in the stewards' inquiries, and it will get looked at. Obviously before the next event. So. It is just one of them, unfortunately. But obviously, Pulu, going into next week then, Brazil, will we see... I mean, it depends if it rains, we might get the Rainmaster Pulu back. But do you think it'll be challenging for points again for Brazil? Maybe even a win?
Points, most. The win, probably not.
I would love to see it, Hardy,
in the
but I feel that
championship,
is slightly optimistic.
In the championship, there's now 2 points between me and Polka. And that's
I was going to say, is there a little bit of rivalry? I mean, you've been very friendly between each other in terms of giving each other space and giving the toe down the straight and swapping positions, but is it a little bit gloves off for the Alfa Romeo boys going into that final round?
I told Polkat already that if he doesn't get his shit together next race, I'm gonna ironically call him number 2 driver.
Well, that's what you're fighting for going into next season. I mean, going into that... Polkat, I mean, was it the exit of Aquaminerale where you had your incident?
I don't know the corner names. It was the slow chicane with the giant yellow sausages.
Oh yeah, so just after Aquaminerale.
The one after, yeah.
The corner that's known as the James corner for an inside joke.
No,
but it is.
You're giving me PTSD calling it
Yeah,
that.
sorry for getting now flashbacks. But yeah, it is. I mean, obviously, this is the first time we've raced at Imola in side by side. I know there hasn't been the ability to have a lot of practice as some of the other tracks that have been in the games forever. For example, like Spa. But obviously, the curb seemed to be catching a lot of people out. There was a lot of spins, and it seemed like obviously I haven't driven the track yet, so I don't know where the bumps are on the track. But it does seem to be quite a tough challenge. And obviously, next time we race Imola, then it should be plenty more time to practice, get used to it, and maybe we won't see the same kind of errors and mistakes catching people out generally. But then, Brazil itself then, next week, Polecat, do you think you'll be able to be ahead of Pulu and
Of course.
come out on top?
Of course. No problem.
I want to see gloves off, boys. No, after you, so after you, or I'll let you through, or let you have the DRS. So I want to see a good clean fight to the finish.
Let me see. Are there any other people close? Well, Torza's close, so if we're near Torza, he might have to give me the position because I'm closer to Torza. But
nah, that's not what we
gloves
want.
off. Gloves off is what we want. No team orders.
I'll put a cool £5 note on the line for the winner out of you two in the next race. And
there you go. You've got it from TwinBarrelJay.
That's proper incentive.
So Pulu, then, how are you going to spend that £5?
Sorry?
How are you going to spend that £5 then, Pulu?
I don't know.
Well, I'm going to pay devil's advocate then, Hardy. I'm going to say, Polecat, give me your PayPal details because I believe in you. I choose you, Polecat.
This is like
you're betting on the right horse, obviously.
I mean, I will never forget Pulu in Singapore, and we know he's the Rheinmeister, and if it rains in Brazil, he's going to have a great chance of beating Polecat. But it's going to be a great battle to watch between you both.
Well, just going to be unironically, but it's never been this close between us. I've just had 3 DNFs, and that put him into the contention. And if he beats me, It's fine. It's fine. If anyone can beat me, or if I want anyone to beat me, it's Pulu, obviously.
Can you hear the fear in his voice already?
Secretly crying inside.
Yeah, we can see he's dreading it. He's absolutely bricking himself.
Jesus, I'm never going to do anything serious again.
Well, I hope you both then have a great evening then. We're going to go wrap things up, and obviously we'll see you next week for Brazil, and hopefully see you for Season 6 as well, with the cash prizes as well, so all to play for next season.
Alright.
Oh yeah. Thank you. Thank you for streaming.
No problem, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.
So let's just get TwinBarrelJay back into the com box as soon as it allows me to, because it's... Oh, there we go. So I was trying to bring you up and it was just not working at all. Discord is being hilariously fun today.
Sorry, I was just having a word with them quickly.
Yeah, that's fine. So then, what a hectic qualifying. What a hectic race. We've got a load of penalties that are I'm probably going to get removed behind the scenes. I think there's a 13-point gap that's been set between Liam and Finn. So Finn could take P3 off Liam in the last race. I still don't know at this point. I think it does go to the wire still between Jesper and Jonty. I think there's still points in it, so the championship should not be decided yet. The constructors, I still have no idea yet until Sapso gives it to us and says this is what it currently is. So if you want to know how that's going, down the link below is the Discord. Come join the Discord. Everything will get posted in there, and we will post it and update everyone as soon as we can. Also on our socials, on Twitter at Side by Side Racing Series, and on the SxS Racing information. But Jay, I feel exhausted after that race because it was so chaotic. How did you find that race?
I don't know if it's because I've been spoilt this season, but that seemed a bit more sedate, if you can believe such a thing, than the other races.
Yeah, you have been spoiled.
I have been spoiled indeed, yeah. I mean, it was a great race, great tactically. It was great to see them throwing the cars around Imola. It's a great addition to the calendar and to this game. I think even if we see what I think might happen, a switch around of positions, I think it will still be a 25-point lead at most for Jesper. So we will have our title decider. And Mercedes definitely outscored Alpine, so we will technically have a title decider for the constructors as well. But yeah, I mean, it was great to see Red Bull with a resurgence, and Finn, getting a win to back up the pace he's seen the last few races. It was heartbreaking to see with Maku, and in equal measure was exhilarating to see Jaxie get his first points of the season. So yeah, no, great race all round.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely brilliant stories all over the grid. You know, Jaxie getting his first points of the season. We had a great battle at the front. It's just so good to see the action all over the grid, and from any point of view, it's just great to see such good racing between the grid, and it's great. And it sets it up nicely for next week, final race season 5. Do not miss it. Same time, same place. And hopefully it will be on twitch.tv/rage_F1 because he will hopefully be well enough to come back as well. So then going into a little bit personal stuff then, TwinBarrelJay, what can we catch you on and what can we expect coming up?
Well, obviously I'll hopefully be back for the final race of the season, either as a 3-man or a 2-man commentary box.
I would absolutely love you to come to the commentary box. You're welcome anytime.
Thank you, my friend. I've been enjoying it. Definitely more than I enjoy driving this game anyway. Other than that, check out TBJ Racing on YouTube. We have the round number 1 of the Foxworth Autosport Community Fantasy League coming on Sunday around 3 p.m. So we're going to release it as a premiere before the Grand Prix. That's where 11 of you guys have signed up your teams, and we got 44 cars doing battle over 10 races with the AI. So I must say the first couple of races have been pretty spicy so far, and I would say you especially, Hardy, shouldn't miss it.
Yeah, I am not going to miss it completely to see it, because I have been, ever since you announced it, I have been waiting to see it drop completely, because to know that how it's being ran and all the teams that are taking part and the people, excuse me, I know that Rage is going to be in there as well with his team, and that is my goal, is to just beat Rage, because it's the same with Dirt League, Dirt 2 with side by side. We want to I'm outscoring him there, and that is just great pride that I'm going to take. So any victory I can get, I'll take. Of course, we do also have the British Touring Car Championship side by side that we're going to be doing soon. We are trying to get as many people involved in that, and that is on Assetto Corsa, where the cars and the tracks will be provided as long as you have the base game. And obviously, TwinBarrelJay will be helping us with that, and that's a huge thanks, Jay, once again for helping us with that. And that will be hopefully live streamed as well.
On that note, I don't know if it's worth. I haven't even talked to you about this, but if anybody has ACC or can get it cheap on Keyshop or some alternate site, where we run a tester evening where people can jump on and try the cars and just have us all jump in Discord and try them out, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be absolutely brilliant. I mean, the car pack itself that we're using is 5 or 6, maybe 7 cars. It's the 2019 cars that were released 2020 for Assetto Corsa. And that is actually tying quite nicely with the plans for side by side and what we want to venture into. We'd love to do an ACC league. We'd love to do loads of different races of support if we can get the interest. So it's down to you guys to give us that feedback, and we can direct it in the correct places. So, and that is open to anyone as well, the BTCC race, whether you're a beginner or a pro, it doesn't really matter. Just come and have some fun and hang out with people. So, obviously then, so we'll be back then, same time, same place next week for the Brazil finale. You do not want to miss it at all, as we might be able to crown our new champion with Jesper or Jonti if he can take back the title. So make sure you come here, and make sure if you're not already followed and subbed to the channel on the YouTube and the Twitch, that you do so now to get that alert for when we go live. I've been HardyF1.
I've been TwinBarrelJay.
And we'll see you next time. Till then, take care and bye-bye.